Hey, everybody. As I just dropped into chat, everyone was having too good a time chatting and reconnecting stuff like that. And it's also, by the way, I'm in Central Time and 11 o'clock is early on a Saturday. And poor Tough is like 2 hours behind. So it's like, wow. So this is early morning for many of us, except for Rachie. So um, you're welcome, Rachie. We're all suffering because you have to live so far away. Brr. No, it's fine. Um, we are, yes, it's dedication, Mac. We are going to pick up our Masks, a New Generation TTRPG actual play. This is our second episode of a planned 3 or possibly 4 because we got some scheduling weirdness with people being available and not being available. So we'll figure that out between this one and the next one. Let us do, before we get into more about the game, let's do the round robin and share with everyone who you are, where people can find you, and just a little synopsis of your character. And then after we do that, I'll ask you guys to kind of collectively or nominate someone to give everyone who wasn't here last week a little bit of a synopsis of what happened. So let's see. I'm going to start with you again, SJ. Put you on the spot.
Okay, so SJ Sidekick everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, gaming. I don't stream, so don't feel pressured to follow. And yeah, that's it.
Zodi.
Hi, I'm the original Zodi. You can find me over at twitch.tv/the original Zodi. I do encourage you to follow me, even though I haven't been streaming recently. I'm pretty much the original Zodi everywhere but Facebook, but that's a private thing.
Facebook.
Look, I have kids and my mother lives far away. If I don't share pictures, she loses her mind. Anyway, Rachie, your turn.
You're muted.
Muted.
Professional streamer. Okay, hi, I'm Rachie H. I am a variety streamer, and as you can tell, I'm a bit like Megan and Mel, as in same hair color, lots of different things, such as like muting yourself on stream. Yeah, shout out to Megan. I haven't been streaming much recently because I am trying to get better, and I am also trying to work on my stream. I've got a lovely book over here, but I did make a random appearance last Monday when I was doing No Mic, No Cam, but I came on because people said they missed my voice, so I was like, hey. But yeah, so I don't know when I'll be streaming properly again yet. But yeah, that's me. And the next person is, is this the right way to put it?
Yeah, that is. You're very good at that. Professional streamer.
Yes.
I'm Misha less than 3. I stream about once every 2 years, so if you want to follow me, you can. My Twitter's at Misha Weya. You'll usually find me hanging out at the Jesus TV program, modding some C+ content over there. Now, up here.
Okay, I'm 98 Tough Love, or Tough Torful, Torflorpington. The variety of names that I go by is never ending, and you can think juice. I stream at twitch.tv/98 Tough Love. I'm also, I believe, 98 Tough Love on Twitter, and those are about the only 2 places that I'm super active. So, and I am playing Spectre, who is a Scion, aka Kid of a Villain, and yeah, it's fun.
And I am Zero Daylight or Zero or Michael or DM or GM or narrator or whatever. I'm really not a streamer, guys. I mean, I have done it. I intend to continue to do it, but that's really just because that's required for what I really want to do is play silly games with silly people or awesome games with awesome people, because that is what I enjoy doing. Don't have a real life, which is fine. Other than my work, this is my passion. So if you want to keep tabs on what's going on with this particular channel, you can go to Twitter at C+ Content. If you want to catch up on what's going on with this channel and the other stuff that I do, you can go to Twitter and look at Zero with a Zero Daylight. And if you are curious about any of our content, other than, checking the schedule here on Twitch, or coming and joining us live, you can and absolutely should go subscribe to youtube.com/C+ content. Hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell button so that you get alerted when there's new content, because we have a fairly active schedule across this channel, which is primarily currently dedicated to one-offs and short runs and sort of experiments with new systems and new ways of telling stories. And if some of them take off, they might extend. But we also have, picking back up tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Central, we are starting season 2 of our main D&D campaign, which will not be, I don't think, broadcast here. It certainly will be broadcast on the Justice TV program and over at Licity channel. So come join us for that. We'll see what's happening. I'm as much in the dark as you guys because I don't think any of our characters have made any decisions whatsoever. Meg, you are in chat right now. You need to think about what you want to be doing. Otherwise, it really is going to be 4.5 hours of us just sitting around having conversations about what you guys want to accomplish. And I'm game for that. I'm just saying the audience might prefer a little bit of forethought. So yeah, just a little something. Maybe you and Juice can chat about it this evening as you're finishing up your run of whatever that the House of Ashes, which is very interesting. So cool. Anyway, that is enough promo of the channel and stuff. So who would like to go ahead?
Michael, can I just say something before we start? It just came
Certainly.
to my head, and it's a positive thing.
Sure.
It's because I work with youths and it makes me think of things. I just wanted to say, in your thing, you said that you said I don't have a life, so I do these. And I just wanted to say, I think social media and sometimes Twitch gets a lot of flack for, it being quite toxic and lots of negative things happen on social media and trolling and all those things. But actually, I just wanted to reflect on the positive side of the social media, in the sense of, for me, through the pandemic, I think Twitch has kind of been a godsend to me to make it so I could socialize. And the thing that I find really heartwarming, because a lot of the young people that I work with, they struggle with not having a sense of community, because I work with an LGBTQ plus charity, and a lot of them are suffering bullying and stuff at school, and they have no sense of community there and can't really be their authentic self there. And I just kind of wanted to say, the thing that I've really enjoyed about starting to stream and Twitch and meeting all you guys and stuff is, and that's what I'm thankful to social media for, is without it, I would have never met any of you. You're on the opposite side of the world to me. And, I'm so grateful to have people like you in my life, even if it's for the short experiences that we do these kind of things. I think it's a blessed thing. And so I'm grateful for it, because yes, there's a lot of toxicity out there, but then there's people like you guys. There's positive, heartwarming, lovely people who are out there, and I've been able to access that community because of this. So I just wanted to say, yeah, thanks. And also, that's a really nice thing to be part of, and I hope more people can find their communities. And it doesn't mean that a community has to be outside. A community can be online. That doesn't mean you don't have a life because you don't venture out.
It's true. Well, first of all, yay. Completely agree. And also completely agree with Bo Burnham that
it's cute how he got all flustered.
Yeah, well, no, direct face-to-face human interaction will kill you. And we should instead strive to have all of our relationships in a much more real digital space. And if you haven't seen Bo Burnham Inside, you should, because it's masterful. But I love the idea of you should treat external reality, the real world, like a coal mine. You suit up, you go do the needful, and you come back. Just, to the safety of the screen. That is, I have been waiting my entire life for all this stuff to happen, because that's where I'm comfortable. Anyway,
yeah.
So thank you for that sentiment. I'm doing my best to pretend to feel things. So anyway, I agree with you, however. 100% agree, and thanks everyone who is here as part of our community, because as always, not only would we not do this without you, but we could not as well. So very happy to have you all
I'm
here.
sorry for the loud laughter, but that made me chuckle.
I mean, I do a reasonable facsimile I no longer kind of blink like you're speaking German at me. I've improved. So who wants to tell us a little bit about the shenanigans that happened last time?
I can.
Okay.
Last time on Team Justice Academy, we were getting up to have breakfast as we always do at the base, but for some reason, all of the electronics weren't working. Tilder, that's me, quickly went through and found that this was a widespread problem throughout the city. We went on the street and got word of a runaway train, which we heroically stopped using teamwork and lots of cool powers. Someone might have been dangling out of the train at the end of it. Doesn't really matter who at all, how that happened. And then the electrical crisis ceased after we had stopped the train. We scanned the news and we saw a couple of events were going on. One, Impass's mentor, I believe, had been caught on CTV committing a murder.
Well, we don't know of the detail.
Allegedly committing a murder. And two, the Litec Industries building at the center of town, where we found that to be the center, probably, of the electrical disturbance that was going on. And also, there's a hole, like at the 35th or 36th floor, suspiciously, where Tilder had been made, one of the robots that the company creates. And I believe that's where we last left off.
Yes, we did. We left off very masterful. Thank you very much, Misha. That was a wonderful summary. Caught all the key points. Yes. So our team of adventurers heroes has known each other. We haven't specified a lot of the previous adventures because it's not required. We begin kind of in media res. But many of those relationship things kind of evolve through play. So you can always kind of retcon things as makes sense. Like, oh, this happened in one of our previous adventures. This is a comic book, essentially. So we try as much as possible to employ comic book conventions, and we try to tell stories in the way that comic books do, which means that heroes don't die unless it's required by the narrative, and that even when they do die, they often come back, or there's another multiverse or whatever. And villains never die as well, almost, because they tend to run away, or we think they're defeated and then they come back. There is almost always a villainous mastermind behind every plot, so there's usually a plot twist. Everything is somewhat ridiculous. And for those of you who missed the last session, Masks is not like D&D. It is structured in the mechanics and the guidance for players to really facilitate that comic book style of play. There is no movement speed, there are no ACs, there are no hit points, there are no spells that have definitions. Everyone has powers, but those powers are effectively just themes. The core mechanic is the move. This is something that everyone has a shared set of moves. Every player, based on their playbook, I think class, has additional moves. And those moves are almost always entirely narrative, about changing either the world, changing the way they view themselves, changing the way others view themselves. This is a lot about identity and how that identity and the way you view yourself can change who you are, and therefore your ability to do things in the world. So that is my little background preamble. But we do begin in what is effectively the Times Square of Halcyon City. Halcyon City is a fictional Eastern Seaboard metropolis in North America. It is chock-a-block with heroes of every generation. So this is a place that is routinely nearly destroyed by alien invasions and transdimensional rifts and robot armies and you name it. So the populace is still largely non-powered, but are quite used to dealing with superhero issues. And our group of heroes are affiliated together through the Parasol School, which was established by some older and very wealthy superheroes and superhero adjacent individuals, philanthropists, to provide appropriate education and socialization for the next generation of superheroes. There may be deep, dark secrets involved with that, but that's not what our story is about. Our story is really about what's going on in the city this week. And we pick up with our heroes having done some great work, saving some people's lives, getting the internet back on so Lala or Resonance, can live stream everything she does to her adoring fans. And you have discovered that, one, this disruption that affected every electronic device, and particularly those that were connected to, IoT or the broader internet, but even some purely kind of old school mechanical devices here near the epicenter, was centered in this kind of Times Square area. And yes, you saw on the big 4K screen on one of the buildings that your mentor, Impact, has been accused of cold-blooded murder of a well-dressed civilian, unarmed, during this event. And I think we left out right as Tilda looks up and sees that a good section of the external shell of the Litec Industries building right at the 37th floor was effectively excised or vaporized. It just ceased to exist. So you had some leads to follow up. You had some issues to address, and you had some different priorities. So what is everyone doing and where is everyone going? It's like, by the way, like 10 o'clock in the morning. It's still relatively early.
Yeah, my first reaction is to go get on a secure channel with Impact so I can figure out what the heck's going on.
Yeah, I think I was following after Impasse because I was worried why our leader is just taking off running.
Okay. Do you have
Important question.
Yes.
Is it a weekday or is it a weekend?
It's a Tuesday.
I'm getting ready for school.
Because you
We're in downtown, right?
Yes. You can certainly choose to attend classes. However, the Parasol School it's for superheroes. So there's
understanding.
There's a very liberal absenteeism policy, especially when it comes to young superheroes fighting the good fight.
Going to attempt to go to school.
You effectively have an unlimited number of practicum hours that you can apply towards your diploma. So as long as you are actively out being superheroes, that will count towards your practicum hours. You just have to file a report, like, what I did last Tuesday kind of thing, like write a book report on your powers, and then it gets critiqued. So you do not have to. You could choose to go to school. You have geometry today. That could be helpful.
I'm at least. Oh, no, I'm not going to that. That's math.
Yes.
Okay, I say to Tilda, what do you want to do, Tilly?
At this moment, I am double checking what Dr. Califor's schedule is to see if she would have even been there, because I would like to go talk to her.
Let's say, sure. Yes, she should be, at least according to the rough schedule that she makes. It is, you think it's highly likely that she is in the building.
All right. Well, I'm looking like, is it worth just jumping up to the 37th floor to look at the hole, or should I actually enter the building and talk to the receptionist desk? I'm weighing those options right now. I'll let you know that, Resonance, that I'm going to go inside and ask some questions.
I think I'll come with you.
Okay, so we've got Tilda and Resonance investigating whatever occurred at the Litec Industries building. We have Impasse, I guess, heading back to the Impound, which is your appropriately named subterranean base out in the warehouse district. Paradigm, you are...
heading back to base.
Okay, and
Essentially to grab my school stuff, but in the meantime, I would probably chat with Impasse to find out what's going on.
okay, and Spectre.
I was taking off after Impasse.
Okay,
See what's going on.
So, as the three of you basically book it, but on foot, I believe. So you're basically just kind of like jogging back to that. I mean, you can catch an Uber; it's no big deal. I mean, with Impasse's relationship to an established previous generation hero comes a reasonable expense budget, so it's not that big a deal. You can get a priority pickup if you need, as long as you're not using it to joyride around. Impact is not going to complain about it, although he may be in prison forever now, so, and have all of his assets frozen. We'll see.
So we're walking.
No, it's fine. Your super secret Uber app for superheroes works. So we don't have to spend an hour of you walking halfway across town to get back to the warehouse district to your base. So let's pick up first with the most geographically proximate set of events. Tilda and Resonance are going to approach the Litec Industries building. How do you want to go in?
Well, with Resonance here, we will just go through the main door.
Okay.
I can get up there, just so you know, if you need to, but yeah.
Yeah, but I guess it's polite to check in, get our guest badges, etc. Well, a guest badge for you. I probably can come in.
Yeah.
They know what I am.
They just scan you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got...
And I put my phone towards Tilly and say, "Oh my God, Tilly, you're blowing up on the gram. They love your hair."
Oh, thank you. I've heard that this color pattern is pleasing, and I'll do a moving rainbow.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
like, hold still. Wait. Oh, yes. No filters needed. Hashtag Tilly. There we go.
Beautiful. So I think you've decided who you want your sidekick to be now. All right. Very good. Yes. So the building is on alert. So as soon as you step near Tilda, you of course are picking up on the various kind of internal systems and communications. There are security teams sweeping floors to make sure that nothing else has happened. But it is clear that internal security at Litec is aware that there was a breach on the 37th floor. There are very, very well armed and armored guards outside the door who at first move to block you, but I'm just going to say that you can like holographically project your authorization to be here. And while they don't have to take orders from you, they're not going to prevent what is effectively Litec property from returning. And that will get you up to the front receptionist. The front receptionist is looking very frazzled. This is a young guy, maybe like 20, right? And he kind of glances at you and recognizes that you're a TLDR model. The glowy hair kind of goes, "Oh, this must be one of the special ones." But he doesn't take a lot of notice. As soon as he sees Lala, though, oh my God. What are you doing here? Oh my God, it's Lala. And he immediately reaches for his phone and starts, like, you can see him flip it around and like, "Guys, I'm here at work and you are never going to guess who just walked in the lobby. It is Lala." And he just like flashes it up.
Please take a selfie with Lala.
He just rips his headset off and just pushes his chair back and rushes around. It's the tall, skinny guy, and puts his arm around you and just like, yes, catching every angle. He's like, he maneuvers you around towards the wall so you get a fancy backdrop and the lighting's good. I will say he doesn't mind leaning a bit forward so that he casts a little bit of a shadow on your face so that he looks really good.
Right.
I mean, it's probably unintentional.
Okay.
And he's like,
and I go, "Oh, I see, you know your lighting.
Of course
Okay,
I
just
do.
take one step that way, and we'll look perfect.
Okay, so yes, he will. He'll suitably chastened. He will step back, and then you take a couple of selfies, and then
I say, Tilly, get in.
Yes.
okay. So after about 3 minutes of various different selfies, posting to every possible channel, he's like, oh, this one's going on my fan house, blah, 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 you know. So yeah, it's a real unproductive 3 minutes, but it does give you, Tilder, a chance to interrogate the local systems that are available to you. There is no report of structural damage that would pose a threat to any of the occupants. And nothing on the available security channels suggests that anything was taken or destroyed or damaged, which is a bit odd. But you're very smart and would likely know that if anything sensitive was disrupted, it probably wouldn't be just broadcast to anyone who has access. So, because it's a very secure laboratory, the solid light projection technology that Litec pioneered is extremely valuable IP. So it's unlikely to be discussed in any open channel. But yeah, so eventually this young man says, oh, sorry. Oh, what can I do for you?
Yes, I'd like to speak with Dr. Califor, please. Could you direct me to where she is currently?
Oh, let me check and see if she's in the building. Goes over to a touchscreen, kind of flips it up, scrolls until he gets, oh, she is up on the 37th floor at the moment. It is in lockdown, though. Sorry.
Yes, a real shame. Let's go, resident.
I mean, I can ping.
Lala residents.
I can ping her if you want.
Oh, yes, that would be fine.
He touches the screen. The image of Dr. Califor's face lights up, and you hear a slightly attenuated voice. Yes. Dr. Califor, you have some visitors here. You have one of the TLDR units, and you have Lala. So, should I let them up? And you hear a longer pause than you would expect. And then you hear Dr. Califor say in a very curt tone, "Ask them to meet me in my office." And then you see the light go out as she breaks the connection. Do you know where that is?
Yes, I do know where that is. Can we get a guest badge for Lala?
Oh, sure. Press a few buttons. A little slot on his desk pops out a badge, and he just slaps it up on your jacket. It adheres itself. Be sure not to lose that.
We'll return it when we leave.
Then he's like, "Oh, my numbers are blowing up." As he scrolls. And then immediately starts like flipping through his photo album on his phone, cropping and adding filters and stuff. So yeah, This is. I mean, he may not be a pro, but we'll say he's getting there. He's a talented amateur when it comes to the publicity game.
Lovely.
So you hop in one of the high-speed elevators that takes you up to the 37th floor. You head to the office section, which actually looks out on the square itself. So lots of lovely views. The labs tend to be toward the center of the building, with workrooms and offices for less important folks on the exterior portion, kind of without the great views. And so you are approaching what is effectively the south face of the building, and it was the west face that was disturbed. So you don't see any damage. There are, however, a variety of patrols. Most of them here are robotic. So nothing as advanced as you, but so you get scanned by a bunch of security bots, but you can communicate with them with secure Bluetooth or whatever, in NFT or NFC, to communicate the appropriate permission codes so that you don't get tased or shot or disintegrated or whatever it is that they might do to you. And you enter Dr. Califor's office, which is very clean, very sparsely decorated. There are no, like, there's no pictures. There's no diploma. There is a single sculpture, which is, and you've noted this before, it's the only kind of appreciation of creativity or artwork that you've ever seen in the way that Dr. Califor decorates her space. Although as a scientist, she is, you know her to be very creative. She doesn't love, she's not a person that really loves the arts. Loves music though. But it is what looks to be a stylized, kind of very advanced chip or circuit board or something, but it's very sort of impressionistic. Other than that, it's a lot of white, relatively glossy furniture. She is in a paper-free situation, so there's a lovely semi-transparent screen. And as you open the door, she is busy interacting with the screen. You can see her typing in touch-sensitive area of her desk to respond to surely the flood of emails and queries from board members and shareholders, etc. Because she does manage this particular lab. And she looks up, oh, Tilly, and your friend, yes, please come in.
Doctor.
I assume you're here because you noted the damage to the building.
Yes.
Well, we have it in hand. But I appreciate your diligence in checking us out. You do us all proud. It's very much what a hero would do.
Thank you. The disturbance affected the majority of the city. Did it originate here, or was there some other source of it?
You see her. You know this person, and you see her eyes. She's very controlled, and she's not a super expressive person, but you can read the micro expressions that she thinks for a moment and says, all indications are that the disruption was centered near here.
This is the building that has a hole in it.
Yes.
And the disruption was near here.
Yes.
And it's not related to the hole in the building.
We don't believe that the hole in the building was the epicenter of the disturbance. And you can see like you're watching her pupils, and you can read enough to know that she's not lying, but she is also being very cautious in her words so as to not lie. And you may not be super socially skilled, but you can detect simultaneous honesty and evasion. However, this might be an opportunity, if you would like, this might be an opportunity to try to pierce her mask. Get a sense of what's actually going on.
Yeah, I feel like I should try, and I feel like it will go poorly. Let me get the... Oh, I don't have that up. What is that? Sorry.
It is, you are rolling plus mundane.
Yeah. Oh boy. Let's do it. Oh my gosh. So I rolled an 11. Minus 2 is a 9.
Is
which
a 9.
Is pretty darn good for me, I think.
For you, not being mundane at all. And perhaps you're learning. Your personality analysis algorithms have become a bit more capable, having to deal with all these various different personalities as part of your team. So that means that you can ask one of the following questions. What are you really planning? What do you want me to do? What do you intend to do? How could I get your character to blank? Or how can I gain influence over you? In the capital I influence, meaning you'd add them to your list of people you have influence over.
I would think, like, how can I get her to tell me what's really going on?
Yep.
is what I'd be. So
yes. I will say you very rapidly access all the interactions that you have ever participated in or observed with Dr. Califor. And you know that she can be a bit loose with the rules sometimes, but she's very, very cautious about when and how she chooses to do that. She's a fairly private person. I would say you think if you were to activate the like frost over the windows, activate the sound disruptors, like everything to make this a very private space, and then do your best to just kind of like, come on, Doc, get real with me. It's just us here. Kind of thing that would be the most likely way of, breaking her out of, because she's very much in professional mode now, and you want to switch her over into kind of her more natural personality.
I will then activate the security protocols in the room to lock it down. I turn the Lala and say, please turn your device into airplane mode and stop recording. I'm cutting off the outside internet anyway.
Beautiful. So we see one of those split frames of Dr. Califor looking very stone-faced and superior. We see a look of Tilly, and we see like the lines of light between her eyes, or in her eyes, as she rapidly processes data and formulates a plan. Then you see the hair pulse once. All the windows, both external and internal, go to kind of a frosty gray. You hear the door click, and you hear the start of a slight buzz sound coming from the walls. So anti-intrusion, anti-eavesdropping mechanisms start up. And then you see Dr. Califor kind of change her facial expression and lean forward a little bit. Oh, I should have known better. You're getting too good at this, Tilly. What can I tell you? By the way,
know you weren't.
she'll look straight at you, Lala, and say, by the way, anything that I say here is not going to be on TikTok later, right?
Right.
Or Twitter or any of that stuff. Like, this is important stuff. I'm going to need you not to broadcast this.
I promise. And if it makes you feel better, I can even just not listen.
No, you should probably listen. This might be relevant to our work.
Okay. Well, I promise.
I'm probably not going to pay attention anyway, so don't worry about it. This is real boring sciencey stuff. So, well. Awesome.
Doctor, I know you weren't lying, but we need to know what happened here in this building, if it's at all related to the incident this morning.
I had always intended to tell you, but later. I didn't want. You're very inquisitive, Tilly, and I didn't want to distract you. You're young. You're just learning. I didn't want to pile too much on you. Your AI is unique, as I'm sure you're aware. And I know that you've been curious in the past to understand how it was that it was created, and I know that you have been very nice about accepting our answer that it's proprietary and we couldn't risk that information getting out, even you knowing. The fact is that we don't know exactly how it works. The technology that we use to give you a degree of autonomy and self-determination didn't exactly originate with us.
Where did it originate from, if not from you?
Technically, a smoking hole in the ground in Oklahoma.
Tilly, you're an alien.
Oh, that sounds Interesting.
Well, the technology that we used as inspiration for your AI net is not of terrestrial origin.
Hmm.
But you were manufactured here. Your design is ours. Your capabilities are ours. So, I think we are absolutely, and our legal department assures me, we are absolutely within our rights to claim the intellectual property, etc. And many patents have resulted from our exploration of this device or this technology, but it is not publicly known, nor will it ever be publicly known, that the inspiration came from. I mean, I think you can see why that might be problematic.
Yes.
I want you. I mean, I have a lot of responsibilities, Tilly, as I know that you know, but more than anything, I want you to be free to explore and learn. I want to see you grow and thrive into your full potential. And if either rival companies understood the nature of the technology that was your genesis, that could put you and your fellows in danger. And if the populace at large or the press understood your origins, that could make your ability to do what you need to do to grow and learn more challenging, and make it hard in some cases for people to trust you.
That seems reasonable.
So the breach.
Yes.
In the midst of the disruption, all of our systems went black. There was a energy field that removed a portion of the exterior shell of the building, and some object large. We only have eyewitnesses, and they were under the effect of some sort of sonic or other field that made it very difficult, kind of scrambled their impressions. But people report flashes of light. Some people said tentacles, but we don't have any CCTV coverage. Like I said, all of our systems are down. But there was no damage to the building, but the remnant that we had been studying and that resulted in your creation is missing. You can see now why we haven't reported that, because we haven't been very open about having it in the first place. So yeah. So the story is there was an attempted break-in, or perhaps there was some sort of unknown, I don't know, the PR group will make something up. Some sort of, interaction with one of our quantum physics experiments caused a spatial disruption field. They'll, make up some techno babble that'll be fascinating to the conspiracy theorists, but will keep anyone from suspecting the truth. So, how do you feel about that, Tilly?
Well.
And she chooses that word very, like you see her choose the word feel.
I'm glad that you've told me, Doctor.
Well, like I said, I had always intended to. I just not under these circumstances.
No, I can understand that.
If as you process this information, if you have further questions, or if you simply need to test potential analyses or hypotheses, you know where I am. You can always come find me. I will probably be working out of my home for the next couple of weeks. One, because there's going to be some construction up here to repair this floor, and two, because I am going to do everything I can to not be hounded by our shareholders and board. They're already driving me absolutely insane. So I'm going to go on a bit of a sabbatical once this blows over a bit. So you can always come and find me at my home.
I will, Doctor. Regarding the stolen technology, is the company sending teams to recover it?
Well, we would if we had any idea where it went. We may, we will do a detailed analysis. We'll apply all of our capabilities to try to figure out what happened. But thus far, the only thing we know is that some sort of advanced technology atomized a portion of the building. And then there's just not very reliable reports of what happened beyond that. But one of the interior labs was breached in a similar fashion. The wall was just disintegrated. But thus far, the only thing that we've identified to be missing is the remnant.
Were any of the other TLDR units affected by the electromagnetic surge? The ones that don't have the AI?
Yes. In fact, all the units that were here in the central area of the city experienced some decrease in efficiency and disruption in their systems. The firewalls and security protocols kept them from outright malfunctioning. I should have asked this at first. I'm sorry, I'm a bit distracted. But did you experience any difficulties?
Doctor, I did not experience any difficulties whatsoever.
Well, your operating system is unique. Just a bit more unique than you knew until now.
Quite. Maybe it is related to who came to take this piece away.
Yes. That's the part that I don't want anyone thinking, including people within Litec. So we are going to be doing some spinning of stories to do everything possible to prevent anyone from making the connection between the break-in and you. The good news is that none of our shareholders or board members know that there are roughly 7 people on Earth, I guess now 9, who know about your origins. And we're all going to keep quiet about that. But you are correct in making the leap that it is a bit too much to assign to sheer coincidence. That, especially knowing that you weren't affected, that some force bent on obtaining or potentially regaining this technology, and you were the only TLDR unit not affected, and you are based off that technology. So yes, could be very problematic, but also potentially a huge advantage. If you are somehow immune to this effect, if it recurs, that puts you in an excellent position to respond and likely in a very good position to investigate. Because unlike other units, you will, at least in theory, not be at risk. I would like you to consider this, however. I'm not going to ask you to do or not do anything, but the fact that whoever this unknown agent is went to a lot of trouble to recover the remnant. If they become aware of your existence, if they are not already, they might try to recover you. So just be cautious. I know you're thoughtful and cautious, but just please, for me, maybe, apply an additional layer of risk mitigation to any of your strategies.
Understood, Doctor.
Any other questions? And you can just see more and more red lights appearing on her semi-translucent screen as more and more high priority emails and phone calls on wait are being blocked by the communication blackout that you've instituted. But you can see her kind of glance over, and you can just see like her face is starting to glow more and more red as more and more of her screen is occupied by these high priority transmissions that she needs to respond to.
I'll look over at Lala to see if she would have any questions. I don't know.
Can we look around where the anomaly happened?
Be quick about it.
Well, where it happened. Okay.
Yeah, be quick about it.
Thank you.
We're gonna seal the area off relatively soon, but we also, the story is that nothing was taken or damaged, so we don't want to seem too anxious to respond. So we're giving it a minute. We're gonna
We're gonna look like we're looking at the wall.
Yeah. All right. Also, great. So definitely not on Twitter though, right?
100% no. I know where things should go and things shouldn't go.
All right.
Trust me.
All right. Would you mind reactivating all the systems so I can respond to
Yes,
these?
of course. Whoosh.
The hair glows again. The windows in the glass wall become transparent again, and then you just hear just a cacophony of beeps and boops coming from her system as these high priority communications come in. Guess I gotta figure out which one to take first. As always, it's a pleasure to see you, and I'm happy that you brought a friend.
It was good to see you too as well, Doctor. And we leave the room.
Excellent. Okay, so we'll...
Can I say, as we leave the room, I turn around to Tilly and I say, Tilly, put out a finger like this. And then I say, Tilly, phone home. And I say, search your history drive. You'll get it.
I'm glad I was not the only one who was thinking about that.
God. The problem is that you have been programmed, Tilly, that bad puns activate your combat mode.
Oh no!
So you see a bunch of ports.
Honey, it was a joke.
You
jokes too, unfortunately.
Yeah, you see two laser guns pop out of Tilly's back and a bunch of ports open with anti-personnel micro rockets on it. Eyes glow red with a targeting reticule, and then boom, massive explosion as the 37th floor is destroyed. Oh wow.
No.
And then the next frame is all of that rewinding, because that was just a tactical simulation in Tilly's head. And you've decided you've decided that on balance, micro nuking the top of this building in response to the bad pun stimulus is probably not the appropriate response.
Come on.
Yeah,
I'd say, okay, come on, Tilly. Bad puns are part of friendship. Come on.
Yes. That's a new thing that you can add to your I learned a thing. You learned a thing today. I actually learned two things. You're an alien.
Right.
And bad puns are part of friendship. So
yeah,
those can be lessons if you would like. You're gonna want to unlearn that second one, but that's fine. Okay, cool. So we'll with a little bit of light comedy relief, we'll end on that segment, and we flip the page over to an Uber pulling up in front of the impound.
Yeah, my knee's been bouncing the whole way. I get out and I'm running over to try to get an open channel. All
right. The driver's just like, "Are you sure we don't let you guys off here? This place doesn't look." Well, I know you're in costume, so he probably knows better than to ask.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Thanks, super
we'll give
drivers.
you 5 star.
Super, yes.
Super.
So, well, cool, whatever. And takes off. Probably gives you guys like a 3 rating. Well, the good news is that all of your systems, many of them were powered down. But
that one's not going to matter.
Well, but it's enough that you can. You can certainly gain access and then power everything back up. And as you expect, because you powered everything down, there's minimal damage. You're probably going to want to have. You're going to need to replace the coffee maker, and you're going to need to clean out the fridge because that stuff got half cooked. So there's going to be some cleanup, but there's no significant damage to any of the integral systems. So you got your massive wall of monitors, your supercomputer, all of your security systems appear to be intact.
I'm going to silently inform Spectre that we need to hold funeral services for our beloved coffee maker.
I'm like,
Yep. As I said, there's energy drink and stuff in the fridge. It's just that it's quite
Not
warm.
coffee.
you know what?
Yeah.
I'll take a warm energy drink at this point. I dropped my coffee chased after Impulse. It's been a long morning, and I'm just gonna like take the mask off, pop open a rain or whatever's in there, and just chug.
Excellent. So, we see everyone walk into the shared kind of main living area and kind of smelling, and we see a picture of someone opening up the fridge and the little flies flying out to indicate the smell. We see a bowed head, a moment of solemn remembrance from Paradigm at the coffee maker. A little bit of a rest in peace. And then we see Impasse just power through to the control room, bring everything back up online. You're getting data feeds. You've got all of your kind of CCTV stuff. You've got your satellite overlay. You've got everything that you would expect, and you can contact Impact potentially.
Is this a fireside chat that I roll for?
It could be. I don't see why not. I think it's a little outside the intent, but it makes sense.
I just gotta not miss. I'm gonna assume a 6 is not great.
A 6 is a fail. Now, we start every session with one team. You may use that team selfishly to turn that into a 7. But you must find a way to do it such that other people feel disrespected, or like there has to be a negative consequence of spending the team point selfishly. But it makes sense given the moment, given your priorities. It makes sense that you would spend that point selfishly. You just have to think about if you can think of a way to make it disrespectful or otherwise negative in terms of your relationships with those around you. If not, I can think of a way.
Yeah, aside from just like locking myself in the room, but I don't know.
Okay,
That would help at all.
so, but you do want to spend that point of team, right?
Nah, I'd fine just being pissed off.
Okay. Let's
I think
see.
not answering.
And if you would read the exact description from the move. Oh, I've got it actually. So you're seeking advice. You're rolling the label that they embody. They tell you what to do. If you miss, they don't have time because something big has gone down. So you are going to need to mark a condition. Anger, sure. Actually, I mean, I tell you, but you can choose a different one if you would like. Like, it could make you hopeless. It could make you insecure because you're without his instruction. So I think there's a lot of different conditions that might make sense. So pick the one that you think makes the most sense for your character.
Yeah, I think insecure.
Okay.
Probably good for that one.
So the fact that you cannot make contact makes you very insecure because you're not quite sure what to do. And yeah. So what do you do now?
I head outside. I go to Spectre and I'm like, hey, so you want to just like spar real quick? I mean, we were just, out of everybody on the team, we're the two closest is in terms of combat. I mean, you don't have to, or just, I mean, if you wanted to, good training.
Don't did you get to talk to Impact? Like, is everything okay? Like, you kind of just took off back there. What happened?
Oh no, yeah, it's fine. Everything's cool. Just just looking to train if you wanted to join me.
I try to pierce Impass's
You
mask.
certainly may. Do you have influence over impasse?
I don't think so.
Which
No, I do not. The Impasse has influence over me.
Yes. So go ahead and attempt to pierce the mask. I was just asking because if you did have influence, that would give you a +1 on the roll.
It's a 10.
Ooh.
yeah, I can tell you why I want to spar.
Yep. So you certainly may ask your questions.
Okay, I want to know less of like what do you want me to do, but like what can I do to help? Because something seems wrong. And how do I get influence or impasse to tell me what is wrong?
Yeah.
And
How can I get you to tell me? How can I get your character to tell me what's wrong? I
Yes.
think it makes sense. How can I gain influence over you? Because
Yeah,
you're
I
doing
think
it. You're doing it
influence
in a positive sense, but you want to be able to influence to like help. So that would make
Yes.
sense. And you have one more. You say, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, like how can I what do you want me to do to help?
Yep, got it. So those 3 questions. Impasse. How can Spectre get you to tell her how to help you, what you need, what's
First,
going
I
on?
want us to be alone.
Sure.
Sparring is just really an excuse to get her away through a medium that's a little more comfortable for me because I'm not really in the most socially apt given my upbringing.
Yep.
Really, I'm just looking for advice because she's also gone through a situation where, her parental figure mentor has turned out to be
Yep.
not so great.
Yep.
How she dealt with that.
Yep.
I'll kind of just like look at Paradigm and be like, "Hey, we're just gonna go hit the gym for a little bit. You bury the coffee maker, make sure it's remembered. Rest
I
in
will.
peace."
I will take good care of it.
Sad, lonely tear. And I'll be like, "All right, let's head to the gym."
All right. So we'll get one of those montages of the two of you. So it's a conversation, but the visual representation is the two of you like doing backflips off of walls and very kind of wushu moves as you each display your powerful combat abilities. So how does the let's work through maybe we'll work through the questions in order as the conversation goes. So understanding how you can effectively get impasse to open up is to talk about your relationship with your mother, understanding that this is maybe kind of similar. So how do you start the conversation in the midst of the fisticuffs?
Because did I see the CTV? So I don't even know.
Oh no, it was on the massive 4K screen in
Okay.
effectively the Times Square. So, and it was on one of the major news channels, so everyone's seen it.
All right. So yeah, just like as we're fighting, I'm just gonna say, it was this kind of the same thing with my mom, except I was there and I saw her kill somebody that she didn't need to kill. So
Well-
I've been there.
I mean, we don't know that we don't know the situation. It could have been a mimic,
has
some shapeshifter that was pretending to be him. It could have been mind control. He could have had to. We don't know the details,
No, but what
I
you've
just-
seen is your mentor killing somebody that did not need to be killed.
But we don't know if he did need to be killed. You never know. Maybe
From what you have seen,
maybe he was causing
this is-
some crazy issues, and the only way to save millions of people was for him to flatline or something.
If this was the case, don't you think that Impact would have told you that?
He's busy. He's on the run. There's a manhunt going on right now. There's
But
plenty
he
of reasons.
wouldn't have time to tell his protege that he didn't do it or that there is a reason that he did it. Even something as simple as there was a reason, or even just it wasn't me.
Again, we don't know all the details. Maybe it wasn't even him. Again, maybe he's doesn't even know, or something else happened.
It was kind of projected like all over Times Square. I think it's safe to say that he'd probably know.
He's probably actively on the run, understandably, while he's trying to clear his name. He'll probably get into contact with me. He just has to needs the time. It just happened. It's hasn't been that long.
Right.
But just for humor's sake, how did you deal with finding out your mom wasn't everything you thought she was?
I mean, I guess I was lucky. I had JJ. So after we got home from that incident, I told my mom I was going to bed and I ran away from home. I stayed with JJ until I joined up with you guys. And now I've got a team and a new family.
Who's JJ?
She's my old piano teacher. Really, really sweet lady. She's awesome. Tilly actually came over for dinner the other night. JJ cooked up some amazing spaghetti. She felt bad that Tilly couldn't eat it, but Tilly seemed to enjoy kind of just standing there watching. So it's great.
Yeah,
Robots first garlic bread.
I didn't learn how to play piano, unfortunately. So.
Well, you could come over for dinner one time.
Appreciate that. So you don't talk to your mom anymore at all?
She has tried to contact me, but no, I have not talked to her since, which maybe I should. But right now, I think we need space.
Fair. That's fair. So how do you deal with people associating with you with her?
I mean, I can't change the way that people are going to see me. I'm the kid of a villain and a pretty bad one at that, apparently, which, great to know now. But I'm my own person and I get to make my own choices and I get to start my own legacy. So the more good that I do, then the farther away from her that I get.
Have you ever considered maybe a rebrand? Maybe not like an anagram of her name?
No, I think it's important that I acknowledge where I came from and that I show that I can be different despite that.
Interesting. I'm gonna, be honest with you. Can't say I, haven't looked out just in case. I mean, Impact isn't the most trusting. I mean, I can't say it's just you. He literally, I'm pretty sure he has plans to kill everybody he's ever met, but just in case, just in case, not just to kill him, but in case it was necessary, obviously, they turned evil or something. But not you specifically, just also you.
I'm not surprised to hear that there was a contingency plan to kill me, but, thanks for being honest about that.
As they're just going at it, fists and feet, and just, headlocks and then reversing the headlocks with fancy flips. Yes.
So what are you gonna do now? Are you just gonna wait for him to get in contact with you? Are you gonna try to help figure out what went wrong? Like what can we do to help? We're a team. We need to handle this together. This isn't just a you problem.
Yeah, I appreciate that as well. It's kind of a big coincidence that these two events happened at the same time. So I think figuring out if and how they're connected is important first step. Or doing some investigating is probably our best bet right now.
All right. Well, let's meet back up with Tilly and Rez and see what they've figured out, and then we can probably go from there.
Sounds good.
So I am going to award Spectre influence over impasse. I'm also going to ask you to roll to comfort and support with so that is roll plus mundane, and add 1 because you now have influence.
It's an 11.
Beautiful. So you impasse clear the insecure condition, and you add team to the pool. So our team pool is now at 2. Or you may clear a condition yourself, Spectre, but I don't think you have any conditions.
I think I still have insecure.
Oh, you could do either. You could add team to the pool, which thematically makes sense, or you could clear your own insecurity, because often helping others deal with their insecurities is the best way to deal with their own. So it's really your choice. Mechanically, a little meta. Mechanically, probably the best thing to do is clear the condition, because
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I would clear it. Bonding a little bit with the team, I think, would help me feel a little bit better after my slip out of the train.
Yes. So you two have shared your perspectives and have grown closer, and the result of that is that Spectre, you now have influence over impasse, and you both drop a condition. Let me double check and make sure I've got I mean, you could mark potential instead, but I think that thematically the thing that makes the most sense is to clear the condition. Spectre, is there a way that you view impasse, like having this conversation and getting to know impasse more? I would kind of like you to tell impasse something about themselves that you perceive, maybe differently than your initial impression.
I mean, the initial impression with impasse was kind of like awe-inspired, trying like not to step on toes, because it felt like there was a little bit of a barrier between our ability to grow closer, especially given her mentor and my mother's history. But now that we've opened up a little bit, I kind of get the sense that impasse isn't quite as angry, I guess, as I would have assumed that they would be. So a little bit more compassionate than I would have first assumed.
Yep. So I'm going to say impasse. I would like you to take your danger down 1. And I think mundane up 1. I think that makes more sense than savior.
Got it.
So this is in response to kind of just the unspoken, oh, okay, you're not all about just going in and busting heads, right? There's a thoughtful, empathetic person underneath that. So that's what that shift does, which benefits you in some ways, but because it's a trade-off, it also, it puts you, put it this way, it puts you in a reflective mode, and that interaction impacts the way you view yourself, which means that just going in and punching someone in the face is maybe going to be a little bit harder, but doing all the things that are based on mundane is going to be a little bit easier on the basis of the conversation. So for those watching, labels are like attributes, but they tend to shift a lot. They can shift directly as the result of a move, or they can shift as a result of the narrative. And this is kind of a more narrative shift, but it's also a result of a culmination of some successful moves. So it just made sense that there would be some lasting, if temporary, potentially impact to how you view yourself coming out of this very productive and I think fun to watch conversation that you guys had. So we cut to like maybe there's an awkward moment where you're both kind of like, should we hug? And you're like, maybe not. we're not
Touch
huggers.
each other instead.
Yeah, and just yeah, exactly. It's like there's a moment of do we hug, and then just like a simultaneous shoulder punch, and then we see the two of you walking out of the gym, like looking like a mess because you guys have been beating the crap out of each other for the past 20 minutes.
That's the nice thing about the being able to absorb her ability is like, all right, cool, no permanent injuries from that.
Yeah, there you
Yep,
go.
exactly. Meanwhile, Paradigm has had a lovely ceremony at the recycling machine, and is busy tacking up pictures of the coffee maker to the shared corkboard, or you're magnetizing them up to your kind of smart wall. And it's pictures of you guys all sitting around the table with coffee cups, and you can see the coffee maker in the background. There's a picture of you in front of it with a new mug in front of the coffee maker. There's like a little montage, a little memory wall to the coffee maker. So with that, we will cut back to Tillian residence.
As a point of order, when I'm changing a lesson, so I would like to change my lesson that says I'm a robot constructed for the benefit of humanity to something like I'm a robot with an alien AI.
Yep.
So when I reject a lesson, I have to make a roll.
Yes.
Because it's like rejecting influence. So I'm just going to do that quick. So I got 9.
Yes, which is a success.
Yes. So I can choose one of the things.
Yep.
Which is probably just shifting a label. So I feel like I'm taking this in stride. Like, it's cool. It's alien tech. I can deal with it though.
Yep.
So I don't know where that would affect labels or anything like that.
The most obvious label to shift up would be freak.
Yep.
And the most obvious label to shift down would be mundane.
Oh boy.
You could however shift savior down.
That might be good. Does it go to -3?
Yep. The lowest it can go is -3, and the highest it can go is +2.
Oh, the drop down doesn't go there.
Oh no, the lowest you can go is -2, and the highest you can go is +3.
All right.
I don't
So
know.
I'll just shift down savior then.
Okay.
All right. I'm a character of absolutes, it seems.
Yes.
And let me just change that thing. So at any rate, we can now go scope out the lab real quick.
Yep. There are people and there are bots, but you just with your sensors and your perception resonance, it is perfectly clean. You can measure exactly how much of the steel girder was removed. You can gather a bunch of data, but it was clear that it was some sort of exotic device or something, because there's no melting, there's no scorching. The edge where the wall was made to disappear is like smooth at the molecular level, so very, very precise. And there is no there's no obvious clues beyond what you can directly observe. I would say you could probably assess the situation, although many of those questions aren't going to be directly relevant, but we can be creative with the questions that you want to ask if you want to assess the situation. So that's a roll plus superior.
I can do that then, yeah. You give that a roll. Oh no, bad roll. Let's see. The math, I rolled a 5 plus superior. So that's +2, so that is 7.
We do have one team in the pool. So as long as residents can think of a way to help you out. So really, residents, it's up to you. If you want to spend that point of team, your sole point of team, to help this be successful. But so, and Tilly's providing a verbal readout of all the sort of scientific findings, but none of it seems to be conclusive.
I mean, at this point, I don't think it's. I don't know. I'm kind of like, but we almost gathered all the information that we can gather. If that's, but
It's
not
entirely
connecting the dots, right?
yeah. It's entirely possible that you've gathered all the evidence that's available.
yeah, I feel that as Tilly has, as resonance, I feel that Tilly has gathered, like, measured everything, probably told me, like, I imagine spoke it out loud, you know, spoke it out loud, told me everything, told me that it's some kind of thing. I don't feel like there's any more information we're going to get right now.
Well, I will say this. Moves always have a consequence, and a successful move can change the narrative. So this is like when we step back into the writer's room. If there's no evidence, but you successfully roll, that success creates evidence. It's never going to be I expend resources or I make a move and there's just yeah. So that is this is I would say spending a team at this point is a chance to change or advance the narrative beyond what is available just through the normal kind of investigation.
Okay. So Tilly looked round but couldn't find everything. Right?
Or you think you found everything, but I would say you both just feel like it can't just be nothing. We can't have hit a dead end. Like there's got to be something here. And you do have powers.
Okay. So I say Tilly, I go to Tilly, I say, Till, come here. Hold my hands.
Okay.
And then I'm like, I'm going to give you a little bit of an electrical boost. And then I say, because you're unique, I think you can handle it. Like they said you're unique. But I whisper because obviously I promised I would keep it a secret.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, so hold my hand and I'm going to give you a little bit of a boost. And then you tell me, you say when it's too much and I'll stop. Like you tell me when. Okay, you ready? Tell me when. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
And then I like
boost
like this, and I'm passing energy surges, electrical surges through Tilly.
Yes. So I will say that your shell becomes temporarily magnetized, and your systems are operating above peak efficiency for a moment, and you can obviously control it to make sure there's no damage to your systems. Don't need to ask a question because I'll just give you the clue as a result with that expenditure of team. You scan the room and you're like, this isn't really helping. And then you pick up an anomalous signal, and it takes you a good long while, which for you is like, 1/4 of a second, to realize that you are emitting the signal. In fact, your AI core is emitting a low-level exotic particle field that you're not quite, you don't know what it is, but it is definitely aberrant. And but you are able to capture its signature and then adjust your sensors to scan for that. And in fact, there is a trace of that same signal.
Ooh.
There is a low level kind of, and I'm going to say you can effectively visualize it. It's like a green cloud, and you can follow this trail as this trail of particulate residue or whatever leads you into one of the internal labs, and then there is a secure cabinet, temperature controlled, EM field suppression, etc. And that cabinet glows very, very brightly, as if the structure itself has been saturated over time with this same exotic particle field. And from that, you can deduce that something that is in some way related to your design came in and got that thing and left with it. But
Can we see where it went? Or
yes, you can. It's preserved largely because you're in a secure building and there's a lot of airflow or whatever, but you can attenuate your sensors to see that the trajectory both down and up came toward the building and then very rapidly at a sharp angle went ballistic to high altitude. And potentially beyond, but that's at the limit of your senses. Beyond that, you would need to roll to unleash your powers to extend your senses, which you could do. You just need to tap. You need to tap into a satellite network.
Oh yeah, we're gonna tap into a satellite network. This
All right.
is cool and spacey.
So you're gonna roll plus freak.
I rolled a 12, so that's a 15.
sounds good to me.
Yes, it's that. I think as good as it can possibly ever get, unless you were rolling against a person and you had influence over them. That's as high as it can possibly get. So maybe it's because you still have some residual extra energy, or maybe there's other reasons. But somehow you are able to, almost like an out of body experience. So while you are aware of your surroundings, you're aware of the functioning of your frame, etc. Your not just your senses, but your consciousness momentarily extends into public and private satellite networks, a variety of different systems, and you are in fact able to very, very rapidly follow this trace as it exits the Earth's atmosphere. You then switch to there's another satellite network, public and military, that is aimed outward to detect incoming threats, because that happens on Earth all the time. And you can follow the trace around to the dark side of the moon. You lose it there, but clearly, because the moon blocks it, but clearly, and the network doesn't extend out that far, but you can see this arc into an orbital path, and then there's whatever it was, did a hard burn to do a orbital insertion with the moon, went around back and didn't come back. So
I think
something
we'll need
is there.
Spaceship. Resonance. I think we'll need a spaceship. We should return to base.
Spaceship.
Yeah.
I mean, I can sort that out. Like, seriously, I can sort that out. You know William Shatner, close personal friend. He's been to space, and I'm sure he knows the right people. So we can totally sort that out. Let's. But I mean, yeah, we'll totally sort that out soon. But maybe we should let everyone know that we might be going to space before.
Yeah, we should return to to the impound and catch up with everyone there.
So we have a large frame of Tilly saying, I think we're going to need a spaceship. And then some small text, as you walk out, some small text as President says, well, actually, William Shatner is blah, blah, blah. kind of as a big dramatic reveal. And then, well, actually, I know some people. Let me make some calls. William Shatner is a super in this universe.
Nice.
Yes, his superhero name is Crooner.
Crooner. Oh, lovely. I love it.
Yeah. Because his kind of unusual style of spoken word singing, whatever that is that he does, in a different Earth is just kind of odd, but here that is how he can influence people's. He can cause visions. He can riot or suppress emotions. So he's got illusion and emotion control capabilities.
Wicked.
Yeah, he's
Sounds
a
good.
Silver Age superhero who is also and probably one of your icons because he is a famous personality who is also a super.
My
Cool.
godfather.
Yeah, your
No
godfather.
joke.
Yeah, that is your godfather is. Oh, my godfather is William Shatner / crooner. Everyone knows him. Boop,
Yeah.
boop, 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 spaceship.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So cool. Yes. So then we cut back as and we'll say that we cut back to watching the backs of Impasse and Spectre, like hitting the showers or going and getting dressed or whatever, and Paradigm ordering a new coffee maker. You have you have put all of the tactical stuff off of the multi-screen kind of central control, and now have like eBay and Amazon and all this stuff open as you're like just deciding exactly what kind of coffee maker,
Yeah.
like which model.
The perfect coffee maker.
Exactly.
It has to steam milk. It has to cover a beverage for everybody,
Yes.
including Tilly.
Yes.
Which means it's basically going to produce motor oil.
Right. So you order it and you use the special coupon that indicates that it's a superhero emergency. That will get it. It'll get a drone delivery later today. So we have that moment, and then Tilda and residents come in.
I'm gonna click on the comms and be like, guys, the coffee maker will be here at 4.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So yeah. So that's what you walk into is an announcement over the impounds PA. New coffee maker. I'll be here this afternoon, and you hear cheers from the other two.
I turned to Tilly and I was like, "Is that what they ran off for?"
I don't believe it was what they all ran off for, but I feel like it was a job well done.
Why did they run off?
Yep.
I believe it had something to do with this news article, and I'll just show her the whatever the latest feed is about Impact.
Yeah, and you saw this residence, but you probably have forgotten about it since.
Oh yeah.
It as you so you show up the original, and then you read that there's been an update, and the update is that Impact has surrendered to Aegis. And that there is an official announcement from Aegis saying that Impact voluntarily surrendered into our custody. Aegis will investigate, and urges everyone to delay judgment. So it's one of those like, nope, the Impact is a person of interest, but it is early in the investigation. There's a lot to verify, and it should be noted that Impact surrendered to our custody voluntarily, and we are simply treating him as a person of interest. He has not been placed under arrest at this moment. And then and then all the social feeds are lighting up, and there's people. There's conspiracy theorists on both sides. There's one particular individual who has a blog that is like, I knew it. I saw Impact's protege that morning. They were doing something with the train that I was on, probably trying to kill us. So that person is getting some clicks off of that blog. But
I'm going to enlarge all of this stuff on all of the screens and everything, now that the coffee maker business has been put aside. And then immediately I'm going to mind link to Impasse and say, hurry up and get your ass down here. This is important now.
Okay. So we'll say that you all come together in front of the main computer display in the control room of the impound, and you can see not only the news feeds and pull up the official statement, which is, I would say, Impasse. I mean, it's somewhat somewhat reassuring because the tone is very sort of like, this looks problematic, but we're not leaping to conclusions. So you can guess that Impact is being treated with respect. I would say on the flip side of that, there's a prevailing sentiment that is, even the people who are skeptical that Impact just went rogue and killed some random person, there's a lot of echoing similar things, similar justifications. You know, this could be fake, this could be mind control, it could be much more than it seems. Impact wouldn't just go and kill somebody for no reason. But even in those pro-Impact threads, there's a lot, yeah, but this is why superheroes don't kill people. Because if you kill people, you make yourself vulnerable. So like there are even some other superheroes that have worked with Impact in the past, like minor ones, because the major ones aren't going to go comment on a blog post or on a Twitter feed. But minor ones who will say, yeah, I had all respect to Impact, not trying to say that he is guilty of anything, but this is kind of what you get when you don't follow the rules. If it were someone else, if we all saw a video feed of Lady December killing an innocent, no one would believe it because she follows the rules. Impact's a loose cannon. As far as we all know, a good guy. And like I said, I'm withholding judgment. I'm not saying he's guilty, but for all you young heroes out there, this notion of we're above the law, or that somehow you are law enforcement and you can make up your own rules, this is why no one else does it. And I would say, in past that logic, probably you may disagree with the moral argument, but the political and kind of PR, maybe it's the first time that you've ever heard someone really articulate the reasoning behind the alternative, the more common perspective, as opposed to the kind of typical, shouldn't kill people because killing is wrong, but more like a no, if we all start killing people, then we're suspect. Then we aren't, there's a downside to us if we break that rule. There's a pragmatic reason for the no-kill rule. And so I would say it probably, like, especially given your recent kind of questioning about how you view yourself. Again, you may or may not agree, but it elucidates that perspective in a way that you haven't been exposed to before. So and that just happens in a close up of you kind of going, oh, hadn't thought of it like that. So now what?
Did you contact Impact? I ask of Impact since that's what it seemed like you were running off to do.
No, he wasn't available, and I guess it's because he immediately surrendered himself.
We could probably get into the visit in the jail thing.
Aegis headquarters.
Aegis headquarters. I'm
Yep.
sure
Maybe.
it would be permitted. At any rate, we investigated the disturbance, and we probably will have to go to space to find out more.
Sorry. What?
Okay, there's a lot to unpack in that, but let's backtrack a second.
We need a spaceship.
Resonance, are you able to get a hold of your PR person and kind of, minimize
I was gonna
damage? Yeah, minimize damage for yourself. And if you could have that reflect on the team, I don't think going to the Aegis headquarters is going to be the best thing, especially for Impasse, because that's Impact sidekick.
We could wear a clever disguise.
For sure. Well, there's two things that I can do for you guys, which I'm more than willing to do. Is A, let's get the PR firm on it straight away. Like, we don't want this affecting us. We don't want any, like, bad press. Okay? And secondly, I mean, I can ask the gossip mag some stuff if you want. Like, I mean, I know people don't rely on the gossip mags, but trust me, sometimes their facts are actually really, really good. So they might be able to find out some stuff about impasse for me.
All right. So yeah, definitely go ahead, get on the PR and the essentially the scene of everything. Try and minimize word of damage and get that blog specifically a cease and desist.
Yeah. We'll get on this.
This is how you make a future supervillain, by the way. That's fine. I'm sure Kelly will be happy to become a future supervillain.
I mean,
I'll let the PR firm deal with it, because sometimes it's better to just leave that one person out there ranting away, because actually sometimes it makes you look better. But they'll know what to do. They've been dealing with this for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to do the gossip mags move.
Okay. Read it out for everyone so that everyone knows what it is.
Says, when you tap into the gossip and rumor of the celebrity industry for information on an important city figure, roll superior. On a hit, you can ask the GM questions.
Yep. And some of these you already know, but go ahead. So go ahead and make that roll, and we can be creative with the questions you ask.
I just thought it'd be fun to do the move as well.
Yep.
Okay, so I rolled an 8, and then I have 2 on superior, or 3. Let me roll. I lost my mouse. No mouse. I can't scroll up. Oh, there we are. I have a 3, so 9. So I can ask you 2 questions.
You said you rolled an 8 plus 3, so 11?
No. Oh, yeah. Math.
Yes, it's okay. Yes. So
Megan, don't hate me.
So that's fine. So you get 3 questions.
Yeah, so I can ask 3 questions.
And and if it's about impact, right?
Shh, Megan. Yes, it is about impact. I forgot that it was an 8. I thought it was a 6 in my head. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Okay. So what I wanted to ask, I know that they're in the compound, but I wanted to know, like, one of the questions is, where and when can I find them?
You know that they are currently at at Aegis headquarters.
But with the where, can that be more specific or not?
Sure. Yes. So you reach out to the gossip mags, and one of the freelancers that routinely hangs out at Aegis headquarters saw Impasse meet some agents at a back entrance. So your guess is that he is probably in an office somewhere as opposed to in a holding facility, which makes sense because he went in voluntarily. So he's not in the Supermax containment unit that Aegis has at their headquarters to keep supervillains in and stuff until they can be transferred to a long-term facility. He's almost certainly, they're being very chummy. And this freelancer is kind of like, kind of working up an idea about how, so you can go kill someone and then you're treated like, you're treated like a fellow. They're going to get preferential treatment because they're a hero, whereas someone else would be immediately locked away. So that's the one thing that you hear.
What enemies do they have?
So they have many. Violet Scepter is one of the big ones. But the gossip mags this has not been reported in the news. And it may not be reliable, but the gossip mags are reporting that the man seen being killed in the CCTV is one Robert Reynolds, better known as Silver Shade, a former supervillain, former known associate of Violet Scepter, who had gone straight and has been a productive member of society now for many years. So,
Hmm.
and Silver Shade was definitely an enemy of Impact.
Ooh.
Tev, you didn't think I asked that question for no reason, did you?
No, of course not.
Ooh.
Flashback to the beginning of our first episode.
Yeah.
Tough. You're welcome, by the way, for me making it so Megan did the prime sub so she could
Yeah,
get
thank
annoyed
you.
at me. Sorry, Megan. And also, I guess just because it's the interesting one, and I think I kind of know the other two.
Sure.
Is how could I make them vulnerable to me?
Impact.
Just because it's an interesting.
You could make Impact vulnerable to you if you could uncover other transgressions that aren't publicly known. I mean, that's the appropriate, like, if you wanted leverage, which would then translate into influence, probably. You could uncover transgressions, and I will give you as a freebie, a second thought occurs to you, and that is, you could make Impact more vulnerable by co-opting Impasse, by creating a distance between Impact and Impasse.
Right.
Because if Impasse, if things are as they appear to be, and as the gossip mags are reporting, if Impasse expresses any trepidation or concern that this might be legit, that will be very, that'll be determinative in the public eye, and could make Impact more vulnerable to, being found guilty. At least in the court of public opinion, if not in the court of law.
Okay. Interesting. Like it. So I tell them all the information apart from the vulnerable question. I keep that to myself.
Yeah.
Because that's just information I would like to know. Yeah. So I keep it all to myself apart from that part.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell them apart from that part. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I think I need to make a phone call. And I would like to go get in touch with my mother.
Oh, excellent. So we're going to have a scene with Spectre on the phone with Violet Scepter. I'm going to say, we'll have, let's go back a few frames. So as Paradigm was reaching out and saying, residents, you need to get in contact with your PR. We need to figure all this kind of stuff out. We cut over, and Lala just puts up one hand and says, just a second. Oh, yeah. Hi, Bill. Oh, yeah, it's me. We need a spaceship. Can you do that? And then you hear on the other side, you hear through the phone, or you do that really super obnoxious Generation Z thing where you have the phone on speaker, and you all hear William Shatner's voice come through. And I don't do impressions, but it's definitely William Shatner's voice telling you with the pregnant pauses and everything that he's happy to arrange it for his favorite goddaughter. And he'll have his people send you the information, and then he, asks you over for, it's like, you missed the last party, and there's a cast reunion coming up. He'd love it if you came. George misses you. He thinks of you like one of his daughters.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
you know what? That's
I suspect George.
Par for George Takei.
George Takei would love Lala. Let's face it.
He would. He
George
would.
Takei is my best friend. Okay. So,
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Uncle Bill. And tell George I said, hey.
Right.
He'll know what that means.
Yes. So we have that we've added that extra frame in. So you've already started to make arrangements about getting a spaceship in case you need one. And so we'll have we'll have the conversation with you. We'll have a bit of a resolution or advice from the PR department. What are other people doing? We're probably going to have a quick succession of frames as you do the needful.
I'm actually going to turn to Tilly and go, why in the world do we need a spaceship to get out of this world? What is going on?
Perfect. So we'll,
Yes.
we can have a scene where you decide exactly what and how much to explain to Paradigm. Impasse, what are you doing?
I also want to know what the heck is going on with
Perfect.
space, but then I'm also in my head trying to think up of theories of how the heck Silver Shade is connected to Impact, connected to possibly Spectre's mother,
Yep.
and everything, and how the heck this is
Yep. And the good news is all that's very public because Silver Shade has written a couple of autobiographies and has been, as far as anyone knows, very transparent about his previous life as a villain and
Transparent. Hey! No joke, sorry.
Yes. How he went from being shady to transparent, literally, because now he's a ghost. If the gossip mags are to be believed. So yes, we'll do Violet Scepter first. We'll do PR, and then we'll do the catch up with you three. So you ring your mom.
Yeah. We need to talk, Mom.
So you say that, and then you hear a young male voice kind of going, who's this?
Who is this?
This is Taylor.
Who is Taylor, and why do you have my mom's phone number?
Oh. Hey, do you have a kid or something? You hear it like put over. And then you hear a woman's voice kind of barking. It's like, sorry, I just like didn't know you had a kid. I don't know, it was kind of hot. And then you hear a little bit of a scrumble, and then you hear a door slam, and you hear a very familiar, sultry voice. Hello.
Hi. Look, this isn't...
I will say you hear, hello, Valerie.
Yeah. Hi, Mom. I have some questions for you.
Would you like to grab coffee, dinner? I'm sure I can have someone whip something up if you want to come by and visit.
Or we could just talk on the phone.
Or that.
So that news feed with Impact and Silver Shade,
Yeah.
really
Interesting.
interesting.
Very interesting.
Very peculiar that the person that you used to work with, who then went hero, suddenly gets killed by one of their previous enemies.
Not if that
Mysteriously.
not if that previous enemy is Impact. It all makes perfect sense.
Except
I've
that,
never met anyone who could hold a grudge like that man.
yeah, and I don't know, Mom, are you involved with this?
Valerie.
Mother.
You know that this kind of thing isn't my style. Where's the profit?
No, there is no profit.
Exactly.
But this feels too coincidental to not have something to do with you.
I will say, I'm not unhappy about it. But there's no real upside for me. I haven't spoken to the Silver Shade since he stopped being the Silver Shade.
No, but it benefits you to get Impact into trouble.
Like I said, I'm not unhappy with it, but I have other priorities.
Such as?
Well, dear, money. Of course.
Of course.
And as much as I might enjoy the idea of Impact twisting in the wind, and frankly feel like he probably deserves it, there's no percentage in it for me. I hope your little friend isn't too upset.
No, we actually had a nice conversation. It's nice to have a family.
Heavy sigh. Well, you know, I'll support you in anything that you do. I am your mother. I may not agree with all of your decisions, but I support you. And I know that sooner or later you'll realize that things aren't always black and white. You know, I know that at your age, it seems like the world is full of white hats and black hats, and you're either one or the other. But as recent events have obviously shown, the world is rarely that simple. And if you want to get things done, it almost always involves breaking the rules, which means someone can label you a villain.
You've been there, Mom. Kind of inherited all of your baggage when I started doing this.
Yep, I know. But that's also true of everyone. I'm sure that you picked up on some similarities there in your lovely conversation with Devin.
Yeah, probably. Is there anything that you know that might be helpful with what's going on?
Long pause in the background. Hey, babe, where do you keep the milk? Right? And then you hear your mother say, well, like I said, I'm not unhappy that Impact is in a bit of a jam. I will say I don't believe it.
Do you know anybody that would want or be capable of doing this?
Well, you would need to be able to fake the CCTV. And if he just has a hold of that footage, they have advanced computer systems. They'll be able to detect it's a fake. If someone really, really wanted to string Impact up, they would need to make a very, very powerfully accurate fake. And, you know, even though, well, or they would need to arrange some sort of overall disruption that would make it impossible to verify with satellite imagery and various other CCTV systems. So if I were you, well, sorry, if it were me and I wanted to frame Impact up and I wanted to use grainy CCTV footage to do it, I probably wouldn't be ready to respond to the little kerfluffle that we had earlier today. That it doesn't seem like that was improvised. I don't think that was someone who said, oh, well, everything's going haywire, so let me stop what I'm doing and make up some grainy CCTV footage. I would probably need to know about it in advance. Doesn't mean that I would be responsible, but it would mean that someone was ready for what happened this morning. Or he did it. It's entirely possible. I just think it's out of character.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can agree there.
I know him rather well, after all.
Yeah, I know. Well, thanks, I guess. Maybe get an age-appropriate boyfriend and don't let him answer your phone next time, please.
Oh, there's no such thing, sweetie.
And that.
All right. Bye. And you hang up. Cool. So that conversation happens. That's a couple of frames on a page. Let us now cut down to residents at kind of the same time, separate room, having a conversation with PR. CSA, this is Sally. Oh, Lala! So good to see your face. I bet I can guess what you're calling about. You froze there for a second.
Something's wrong with my internet, I think, and I'm scared to refresh the thing because the stream started buffering and
Well, your voice is coming in clear, so
Okay.
and if we lose you, we'll switch frames. But let's stick with you. So
Yeah.
Sally, CSA, this is Sally.
Oh, hi, Sally. Yeah, so I'm just ringing up to ask if you can, handle the whole impact situation so it doesn't reflect badly on myself or any of my fellow teammates.
Actually,
Just keep an eye.
Yeah, I had one of our interns draw up a press release.
An intern.
Yeah.
Sally, how long have I been with the company, Sally? How long have you represented me?
I'm going to say we are getting a bad connection, so we're going to take a brief pause while that sorts itself out, and then switch over. We'll switch over and then come back to you. So if you want to go ahead and restart or refresh, you can, and we'll reconnect.
It might. I don't know if it will give a whole much. I don't know if it will give me a whole new thing, but I'll just try it anyway.
Yeah, if you need to send me a new link, that'll work too.
Okay.
Cool. So we'll cut over to Impasse, Paradigm, and Tilder. As basically Impasse and Paradigm are like, wait a second, what's this with going to space? What did you find, etc.?
Don't be concerned about space. I'm sure that we'll have the requisite space suits needed. I mean, I don't need it. I don't breathe, but you would. Yes, space.
Or what?
Oh, yes. We entered the Litec headquarters. It was missing a side on the 37th floor, so it seemed like a good place to investigate. I did some scans, and we traced an unusual particle system from that empty, from the damaged floor that did, I accessed some satellites, tracked its position, and it moved to the dark side of the moon. So whatever caused the disturbance this morning is likely there.
On the dark side of the moon?
Yes, it sounds extremely dramatic.
It sounds like a really bad Pink Floyd album.
Yes, I say after accessing my databases.
On the dark side of the moon, are there satellites that are able to pick up things on the dark side of the moon?
No.
Well, no. That's why we have to go there.
Then how do we know it originated from there?
Well, that's where it went. I don't know where it came from.
I trust Tilly's information. Normally, I would refer this to some more spacefaring heroes, but given the situation, I would like to find out what the heck's going on myself, since this all seems too convenient to not be connected.
Yeah.
And I agree, but it's space we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's the final frontier.
Until you can actually, directly interface with the main controls or the main computer and show the particle trace plot, so everyone can see that yes, there is this kind of green, slightly diffuse cloud, and you can watch the trajectory as it goes behind the moon. Where it is beyond that, you don't know. But I will say that the moon moves. And as the moon moves, there's no it's not like it just went behind the moon and continued. Like it somehow it could be in lunar-centric orbit, or maybe it landed, who knows? But it certainly is now moving with the moon because there's no extra trace beyond that. So you can confirm with your own eyes the findings that Tilly has.
Now, when I said that this might be the final frontier, was that a pun? I've been instructed to tell bad puns with friends, and I'm still trying to grasp what makes a
yes, that was a bad pun. But it was still a bad pun. Especially if you're not a Trekkie. However, for you might actually really like Star Trek. When we get back from space, I'll introduce you to it.
Tilly's eyes flash kind of a blue color very, very briefly. And in that half a second, you have consumed all canon and non-canon Star Trek lore.
Yes, Star Trek is very enjoyable.
That
as many themes I think I
That's
relate.
cheating. That's cheating. We're supposed to watch it together. You cheated. That's not
watch
fair.
it with you later. But if there's anything you need to know about Star Trek, I now have encyclopedic knowledge of it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
At least
we're
while
gonna
it's
watch
loaded
it.
into my near-term memory cache.
Yeah.
It will take slightly longer. I have to put that into the archival memories.
Impasse, what? I mean, obviously, it seems like we're going to space. We've already got our ride. Two things. What are we doing about school regarding going to space? And two, what are we doing to go see Impact?
I have to
But
impact
regarding
write a note, but that's not going to happen.
Regarding school, I've uploaded all of our upcoming week of curriculum. So during any downtime on the trip to and from the moon, we can continue our lessons.
Oh, great.
Fantastic. Tilly, are you able to sneak into the Aegis stuff and see what we can hear and or see?
It's within my capabilities
without being detected.
There could be
Without-
backlash if I was detected, yes.
Exactly. And given that you're on a team with me, I don't think that would help Impact's case.
We don't want to make a bad impact on our team. Is that an appropriate
Yes,
pun?
yes, Billy.
Who
Wow.
taught you this? Who taught you this?
Oh, I was speaking with Lala when we were at the office. She had said,
I'm gonna walk off and I'm
taken
just
this
gonna
lesson to
scream.
heart.
Well, depending
What did you
how
do?
long it takes to get these resources, me visiting Aegis isn't the worst idea, but I would not want to sneak in. I'd want to go voluntarily, as I may even have some questions for myself, given my relation to Impact.
Yep. And you can certainly, I mean, you are not affiliated with Aegis, but Aegis does manage part of the Parasol School. So there is a mechanism for you to contact Aegis if you need to. Above and beyond just a superhero calls Aegis, they pay attention, even a young superhero. So you have an official channel if you need to contact Aegis, and you can do so appropriately. So, spaceship on the way. You've got your plans, and your intention is, as you wait for it, to go and see if you can speak to Impact and or Aegis agents. Rach, how is your connection now? Oh,
I don't know. Do you want to? Can you hear me or?
yeah, your voice seems fine. The video is real weird though. And let me.
Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I could do is turn my router off, but that means I'll have to go away properly.
Yeah, I'm gonna reset it. I'm gonna reset it on my end too, and just to see if clearing the cache helps. I don't think it will because I think it's on your end. Oh, it seems to have helped a little bit, or maybe it's just a coincidence. But anyway, so you were talking to Sally at CSA.
Yeah, I said an intern, Sally, you can do better than that. I know you can do better than that.
Well, I will just say this is a very talented intern. And I've already given the press release a look, and it looks good to me. But as you can imagine, the significant portion of our long-term staff are currently focused on the whole impact issue.
That's what I'm talking about. I need you to think about how that impacts us. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how that could affect us as a team. And we don't want any more bad press. So with Impasse being on my team, you need to think about how that reach. What are the optics? Remember, Sally, optics. Okay.
Yes. So, well, I have a release ready for you and for your friend Impasse. I passed it through legal. It looks good. It doesn't expose any of you to any kind of risk. It doesn't. Right. It doesn't throw Impact under the bus because it's a little bit too early. And as I said, we rep Impact too. He's
Yeah.
he, by the way, he's not a very good client. He's not particularly cooperative, and he hasn't given us a call at all. But suffice it to say that the statement will be consistent with what we're putting out in his and our own interests.
Okay.
And it's just simply that you all have full confidence that this situation will be cleared up, but that Impasse has no knowledge or involvement whatsoever, hasn't spoken to Impact. Is that true though, right? That they haven't spoken? Or because if they've been talking and there's a record of them talking, we can't go out there to the public and say that they haven't been.
No, they have not spoken.
Okay, so well, good. Then all you need to do is I'll send it over to your phone, and all you need to do is go ahead and get Impasse to sign off on it, and we're happy to handle it. We won't even charge a fee. I mean, we'll charge your normal fee, but we won't charge an extra fee for handling the issue for Impasse because it's kind of a rider on the contract that we have with Impact.
Okay, lovely. Okay, well, I will show this to the gang, and then I will email you straight back. Thanks, Ellie.
All right. So you then walk in at the time everyone's kind of rejoining. Spectre is, still, probably rolling your eyes from your conversation with your mom. The rest of you are talking about space and the potentials of getting in contact with Impact. Lala comes back in the room and hands off to you, Impasse, a well-written, well-prepared press release. You scan it. It's certainly not in your own words, but I would say it doesn't throw Impact under the bus. It creates, it simply is, I guess, overall saying, I don't know anything about this incident, but I have full confidence in my mentor and in the system of justice, etc. And so just basically leave me out of it. I'm not involved. Which probably there's part of you that's a little bit like it doesn't accurately reflect your instincts, but you're smart enough to realize that it's the right position to take publicly.
The only thing they could maybe add is I plan on fully cooperating with Aegis as well.
You listed at the bottom is the typical disclaimer that CSA, all of its clients, and all of its clients' associates that they may rep or reference are absolutely committed to the rule of law and will comply with Aegis or any other lawful authority in any investigation should it become necessary. So legal has done their work to include the proper indemnification and disclaimer. So it doesn't feel good, I would say, probably, but you can recognize it's the smart move, and I'm assuming provide the approval, and very quickly, I would say, Lala, within moments of you sending the approval back to Sally, on one of the screens in the control center, you see breaking news. Statement from Impact's sidekick, which you're probably a little bit upset that they just call you Impact Sidekick as opposed to Impasse. And then there's a big picture of Lala. And then another little picture of you that's a little bit grainy because you're not quite the media hog. So it's a picture of you like taken from a far telephoto lens. And then there's a full studio shot of Lala. Joint statement from media celebrity Lala and Impact Sidekick. And then there's a few talking heads. Like he's like, oh, well, of course, if he was planning on killing somebody, he's not going to involve his sidekick. So the overall sentiment in response to the statement is that, I mean, what do you expect? It's a professionally written press release, but no one immediately says, except for maybe one blogger. No, the typical members of the public and certainly the press appear to take the statement as it was intended. And there are some adults who say, well, I've been covering the superhero beat for years and we've seen superheroes go bad. And when they do, it's usually, there's usually some bigger plan and it comes back that they were a hero all along or they were being mind controlled by a villain. And usually it's the sidekick who has to bear the brunt, and we're not going to do this to this kid because yeah, they clearly weren't involved. So you think you're in the clear on that front.
What that one guy said, whereas like, of course, if he's going to kill someone, he's not going to involve the sidekick, especially because Impact didn't contact me. That
Right.
makes me not feel good.
Well, there's that too. I mean, there's a lot of people who've made their career analyzing and reporting on superheroes, and so as you can't look at the news and stay on top of what's happening without being exposed to the talking head analysis, and a lot of it is very solid, and so based on experience, but a lot of it also raises questions, or at least fails to provide you with any unambiguous assurance.
So
Man, I
I
really wanna
say,
talk to
in
Impact.
class, we need to work on your headshots.
Maybe later.
Yeah.
You've got
Yeah.
I
people.
could take some pictures right now if you need.
Yes.
No, you need. Look, we need top quality. We'll arrange it. We'll arrange it. I know people, but like Impa said, now's not the time. But just note it. Okay.
As you before you even are able to shut it down, you see Tilda go over and look at Impasse, kind of cock your head a little bit, and then your hair flashes bright white as a fill flash, and then as you're doing that, you're downloading filters that you can apply, and then you hold up your hand and you broadcast like. Here's you with a unicorn horn. Here's you with puppy dog ears. Here's you, right? Just all the popular filters. And feel free to pick one. They're in my memory forever. So if you ever need one, let me know.
Oh, great. Awesome. Cool.
Yeah. Seedly, SJ, you're gonna have to download what is it, Snap Filter or
Yes.
Snap Camera, because it gives you all the Snapchat
Yep.
filters on your PC.
Yep.
Like
This is you as a cat.
over
This
here.
Yes.
is you as a dog. This is you as a horse. It just kind of puts a horse head on top. I don't understand that one.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Tilly.
And that is in fact the technology that gave us the cursed baby Raichi in the main D&D campaign. It's very disturbing. It's very uncanny valley. So yes, it is a real thing that exists in the fiction as well as the real world. So awesome. So you have, I think, two simultaneous things, or two next steps. One is board a spaceship, and the other is to go talk to Impact. Is there anything else, any other scenes that need to happen?
There you go.
Who's going to talk
Hector
to
wants to
Impact?
talk about it, Mom. No.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize my mic was open while I was dealing
No worries.
with my daughter.
Oh,
Who's going to talk to Impact?
I assume Impasse, but is anyone else going to Aegis headquarters?
I would probably go with, because
Okay.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, I think if we go as a united front, it would probably be
Less
the best
weird.
option.
See, I personally think, considering the press release we just released, I actually think going is a really bad idea. I think that connects you.
Bad to
We're
shit.
not going. We're
Impasse is still
going
standing.
voluntarily to cooperate with Aegis in case they want a statement from myself.
Yeah, so we're just
Not
a bit.
secretly
You
to
can't-
sneak in
okay.
or try to secretly get in contact with Impact or anything.
Yeah, we're just gonna talk to Aegis and say, hey.
And maybe like, hey, can
Okay.
I get stuff to?
Yeah.
Okay, so just to
And
make
while
sure
they
as you
don't-
go through the door that you are seen, like give a wave to the camera, smile, just like make sure that you are seen walking in by yourself, like as in don't have any Aegis representatives or anything like that. You want to be seen walking in the building by yourself so that the optics are that you have walked into the building by yourself, because people can twist things so easily. Even if you walk in with a member of staff, it might look like you're being escorted into the building. Like, just be so careful.
Yeah,
These people like to make stories.
We don't want any Aegis reps with us as we walk in. However, while they're not going in to necessarily talk to him. I'm going to attempt to talk to him and see what I can find out.
Interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
All right. So you're all going.
I'm
Yep. So,
able to do so without actually moving my mouth.
yep. So you're all gonna go. Just for curiosity, particularly you, Tilda, is it your intent to reveal anything that you have discovered to Aegis?
No.
Okay. Then I won't set up for that conversation. All right. So we'll say that you grab a super, but with Lala's guidance, you let Impasse out to go up those big marble steps to this kind of grand, Greco-Roman style with all the carvings of heroes and human agents, etc., from generations past. And Impasse, you follow the suggestion of, yeah, and there's a paparazzi line. There are indeed like security agents, keeping everyone back to not impede the business of Aegis. But this is a high profile situation, and of course, as soon as you step out of the Suber, the pictures keep clicking, and the flashes go off, and everyone's clicking. People are shouting your name, asking for a statement, which I assume you do not give.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to smile and wave like she said, but I'm just going to, go walk straight in alone.
Yeah. So you enter, and none of the Aegis agents rush out to grab you or anything. So you think the optics are probably pretty good. The rest of you then circle the block a little bit to give that time to happen, and then you come out. I'm going to say we catch some scenes of the rest of you kind of filing out of a car. The paparazzi kind of going to take shots, and then kind of going, oh, we don't know who those people are, whatever. So they go to talking, and then of course Lala very gracefully exits, and then all the cameras come to Lala. Do you think you would go over and talk to the paparazzi?
No, not at this point. I think if our intention is to go into the building, I would get out the camera, I would get out the car and like wave and stuff like that, but then I would start to be like, hello, hi everyone, hi, and then carry on walking.
Yeah. And we'll say that it creates enough of a distraction, since all eyes are turned on you, that Paradigm, Tilda, and Spectre can enter the building without being harassed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like,
which is perfect,
yeah,
because I while the telekinesis is known, the telepathy is kind of kept on the down low, and this way I can use it for its intended purposes of listening in and eavesdropping as I need to, or to get into touch with people. But the telekinesis, that's well known.
Yes. All right. So you enter the building. Impasse, you first. As soon as you enter, people, and we're just going to say that they know you're coming, because it would have made sense for you to send I'm going to come in voluntarily, answer any questions you have. So there is an agent that greets you. This is a super. This is someone who's not that much older than you, but it is one of the sort of new generation of Aegis agents that are super powered. There are rumors that Aegis has undertaken a variety of programs to identify and enhance and possibly even create supers, train them up, because as the years go by, the world and the universe just gets more threatening, and having supers on staff becomes more and more important. So this is someone that you recognize. It is their code name is First Responder. They are a cyborg, and they are one of the more more visible and kind of popular members of Aegis that is a super. Kind of the high school athlete that that was terribly injured, but then super secret technology, Aegis was able to build them stronger and faster. And now they use their powers for good and justice and law. So it's a smart choice on the part of Aegis to have another super and one that is quite beloved be involved in the investigation. And this is someone that everyone likes because their personality is very open and they seem very genuine. They aren't the typical kind of man in black suit that's a little bit suspicious. This is someone who's publicly known. I don't think you probably would ever. You might have like met them in a meet and greet or something like that, or on a mission, but you don't know them particularly well. Yep. And he will stride up, kind of clomp up. Oh, hey, yeah. You're Impasse, right?
Yes.
He'll extend a metallic arm. I'm Brock. I mean, they call me first responder or whatever, but between you and me, it's just Brock. Yeah, we should go talk. Before we do, though, do you know anything about what happened?
No, I'm actually hoping to find out.
Well, that's good news, because if you did, this was going to be a real different conversation. I was going to have to call in a whole bunch of other people. Otherwise, we can just go into one of the meeting rooms over here and chat.
Sounds good.
This must be tough. So he will lead you over. He'll lead you through security, into a meeting room, but it's not an interrogation room. It's quite comfortable. It's like a conference room, and he will sit down and he will ask you a bunch of questions, kind of like pro forma questions, like, are you aware of any other criminal activity? Did Impact discuss anything with you? Do you know of any interaction between Impact and the individual formerly known as Silver Shade? And you can honestly answer no to all those things. He is scanning you the entire, and so he's a walking lie detector. In addition to, he's super strong and he can heal people and he's super durable. But he is geared up with a bunch of medical equipment that makes him very, very good at disaster response. But he can also read things like if your heart rate goes up, or if your if your capillaries dilate, or if your pupils dilate. So he can tell if you're lying. So just he's not going to ask you anything that you wouldn't be able to honestly say no to, except for maybe one question. As he interviews, as he has like, well, I'm about to the end of the questions I need to ask you, and this is going to be an easy report to ask. Thank you again for coming in. I just have one question, and really, it's just kind of for me. And he will take the pad that he's making notes on and kind of turn it over to signal that he's not taking notes. Do you think he did it?
I don't think I can't imagine why he would do it. I know Impact, anytime we had to go that far, there was a good reason for it. It was always for the greater good and to save more lives than would be lost. Just similar to police and military, you're at war, you have the justification to take a life. The way the CCTV footage looks, he stabbed him. It wasn't a heat of the moment. It wasn't he's throwing a knife at him. He came up and stabbed him. I have to believe it was fake or a mimic or, any other mind control, something like that.
Yep. So in other words, he might have done it, but if he did it, it was for a good reason.
Exactly.
I have to tell you, that's kind of where I think a lot of us are right now. I mean, we don't have a lot of evidence. What evidence we have doesn't look good. It's not a lot, but it's not out of character for him to kill someone. But I don't think any of us really think that he did it for vengeance over stuff that went down 10 years ago. It doesn't make sense.
He's not talked about Silver Shade.
Yep. Of course, then again, just between you and me, if he had some sort of long-term plan to exact revenge on someone, he wouldn't talk about it.
True, but he also wouldn't just go up and stab him.
Yeah, true. Unless he thought he wouldn't get caught. I mean, I'm not saying I think that's true. Like I said, I think we all think there's something else going on here. But I hope you can see how, if he had some sort of long-standing grudge and stuff went hinky and like all the security systems and surveillance around town went down and he just happened across this person that was his nemesis from years ago, how he might have just, snapped and said, take the opportunity. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that that's the thing that we need to figure out if that's what happened or not. He's not being, okay, I'm not really supposed to tell you, but he's not being super forthcoming. He's just told us that it wasn't him. So, like I said, it might be true. But if he's telling the truth, he doesn't know anything more about this than you and I do, really. But because the systems at his compound were down, he doesn't have any evidence to prove that he was there where he says he was.
Right. And I mean, same for me. The systems went down for myself as well.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you by looking at him that he isn't giving off any of the signs that you would expect of somebody who's lying through their teeth, but he is who he is. And I'm sure he could stone face lie to me and I would never know. So, and there are, there's stuff that we could do to figure it out, but we're reluctant to because it involves calling in some big guns. And that would be real problematic if this just all turns out to be a ruse or a misunderstanding or something else. So we're just going to try. We're mostly just trying to keep the situation calm. Now,
But given that he probably knows you have those capabilities, if he had done it, I don't know that he would have turned himself in.
Well, except that he knows that he can fool me because he's trained.
Well, you're also saying bringing in bigger guns.
Well, but he knows that we're not going to call in some mega level telepath to read his mind because that's against our own. Because we're not dealing with a global threat here.
I think
So
you over or underestimate how untrusting Impact is and how
it's a good point.
He does not see everyone as always good.
Yeah.
He is always aware of people being capable of much more evil than even they think they are.
Yeah, I get that. But it's also we could chase this rabbit down the hole as long as we want, and we're just going to keep coming back to the circle of the truth that we don't know what happened. I was hoping that someone would know something so we could figure out exactly like where. I mean, we think we know where that was supposed to happen, but I will say we haven't found a body yet.
Oh,
I mean, I don't go around telling anyone that because we haven't released that information. But I figure you deserve to know that. Hopefully that's a little hopeful because there might still be a chance that this is some sort of complete trick and that nothing bad has ever happened. But then again, we don't know what happened after we saw him stab that guy in the video feed. He might just have hit in the body. So, like I said, it doesn't prove anything, but it doesn't look bad. Right? Doesn't look good, but that part at least doesn't look worse than it already is. So
I still hope that Silver is still alive.
We can't prove he's dead.
Right. Okay.
Which that's not bad news, I guess. So, I mean, I'm sorry, that's about all I can offer you. I obviously can't tell you all the details of the investigation, but the other thing that he was real clear about is that he didn't want you involved in any way.
So he's not going to talk to me even if I ask.
I mean, I can go and see if we could set up a quick. I mean, we'd be monitoring the whole thing. I think if you really want to talk to him, I could convince someone to let it happen. Just because they might be thinking he might give something away or might talk to you or won't talk to us.
I mean, I would at least like to just check in on him.
I'll see if I can give you 5 minutes. Stay right here and he will get up and leave. So while this is happening, what are the rest of you doing? You are, unless you want to finagle your way, you will be recognized as heroes. People will, look you up and go, oh, okay, you're associated. You can go to a waiting room, but you won't be let in through security unless you want to try to finagle your way in.
I'd just be in the waiting room. I don't think
I think
going
I'd
to
just
do anything.
be waiting. I think I would probably tell anybody else in the waiting room with me what I've kind of picked up from my mom, that the incident at the Litec Industries and the CTV footage are probably related.
Yeah. The whole idea that it's unlikely that that was improvised in response to the general disruption. It seems way too perfectly timed. So there's a clear connection there. Awesome. So Paradigm, you are going to try to telepathically find the mind of Impact and
Yes.
send a message. All right. This is going to be an Unleash Your Powers roll.
All right. That's just a D20.
D20 plus freak.
Two 2d6.
Yep. Sorry, D20. Sorry, 2d6. It's a roll, which in this system is 2d6. And then add your freak. Yep. So Paradigm goes off and sits in a corner, centers herself, begins sifting through the various different telepathic signals to try to find the mind of Impact.
Sorry, my Bluetooth is acting up for my headset. I can't hear you guys at the moment, so just hang on 1 second.
Sure. Cool. Then we'll put a pin in that. Impasse. Let's go ahead and have you. This is actually happening after, but when Paradigm cuts back in, we'll pick that up. So Brock comes back and says, "Yeah, they'll give you 5 minutes, but like I said, they're going to be watching." So you are led to an elevator up several floors, which is again good news that it's not down many floors. So you are led up there, and they take you to kind of a nondescript panel wood door. Open up, and they're sitting at a table in a relatively comfortable chair is your mentor. He has the mask pulled back because he just knows who he is.
All right.
So he is in costume because he came in costume, but he has his mask pulled back. He's got his gloves off. He's just kind of sitting at the table, fingers tented like this, and doesn't really move, but just looks at you hard when you walk in the room. I don't think this is wise for you to be here. I told them as much.
Well, you could have told me before.
I could have, but I
Yourself.
didn't. Report.
So what do you want me to do?
I want you to report. What have you learned? What have you been up to?
So when everything went down, we saved the grav train, and then we saw the
Good.
CCTV footage, in which I immediately went back to base, tried to get contact with you, but I could not. And then it came up that you had turned yourself over to Aegis. So then I came here to also cooperate with Aegis to give my own statement.
Good. And you told them the truth, right? You don't know anything?
Yes, because I don't.
Good.
I also told them that I don't think you could have done it, or if you did, you had to have a good reason.
Well, I don't think that's going to carry a lot of water.
Why is that?
Well, it's not proof, is it?
No, it's not. But grainy CCTV footage isn't exactly the most convincing either.
That's true. But I think everybody knows that could have done it. I did.
I understand the public perception. It's not the first time we've dealt with it.
Yeah, but this feels different. And he kind of leans back.
Is there anything you want me to do going forward?
He will look up to where he sees the camera, and he will look over to the one-way mirror where people are watching. And he will give you a subtle. He's got his arms crossed. He'll give you a subtle kind of drumming of fingers that he has trained you to read. It's like a subtle sign language. That's as far as he and you and maybe any previous sidekicks that he's had are the only people who would know that. And he basically says, investigate, follow leads. Can't do much sitting in here, and this is where I need to be right now.
All right, so I'm just gonna kind of stare at him.
Would you like to pierce the mask?
Oh, yes.
All right. Go ahead and roll plus mundane.
Oh, good. I actually have a...
Yeah, your mundane has gone up.
What am I at? So with +1, 10.
Perfect. You get to ask 3 questions of what are you really planning? What do you want me to do? What do you intend to do? How can I get you to blank? And how can I gain influence over you? Or things in that vein.
Right. So, I mean, I can understand that he wants me to investigate, which tells me that he's innocent and wants me to figure out what the hell happened. Hold on, let me pierce the mask. What is he really planning? I kind of want to know where he's at, but I don't know how I would figure that out.
It's just
at the same time, the problem is I also understand that they're watching, and
yeah. And this is really just your ability to, him, you are reading the signs, his history. So you're leveraging all of that to make an accurate kind of guess as to where his head's at and what his plans are. So it's not magic,
right.
It's not telepathy, but these are, to the extent that I answer questions, I have to answer them accurately in alignment with the narrative. So your guess is that he is planning on sitting here while everything plays out. And if it plays out that he's charged, he's going to go to trial. And he's going to be about as helpful as he is now. He's simply going to say, nope, wasn't there, can't prove it. Because that's who he is.
Right.
So probably not the best defendant, but he certainly isn't planning on breaking out or any of that stuff. He's like, he is in a corner. Because although his moral code is not consistent with most superheroes, he does have a very strong moral code. So he is going to follow that to the letter. So that is his plan. That's one.
Which is incredibly frustrating for his sidekick who is still learning. And
yeah, it's the worst. You're welcome.
So yeah, so he's going to sit here. So if anything happens, I have to figure it out.
Yep. So what
I'm not confident in Aegis figuring it out.
What he wants you to do, I'm gonna say, because again I have to answer accurately. What he wants you to do basically 2 things simultaneously, and they are inconsistent. And you can almost see it in his face. He's a very controlled person, very well trained, but you can tell something about. He looks very tired around the eyes. You can tell that he's got a warring instinct to tell you to just go out and say, I denounce my mentor. I can't be associated with this, whatever, to protect you. But at the same time, not because he's the type of person who's like, I need help, I don't want to be here, but more like also he's more worried that if someone came after him, they're going to come after you. So it's actually less risk to you if you can figure out what's going on and who's behind it than simply going out and saying, I'm not responsible. Because if you do that, then evidence comes up against you, then it becomes more of they were in it together, right?
Right.
So he's done that calculation. He doesn't like either option particularly, but I think where he's at is he wants you to figure out what's going on, not for him, but for you.
Right. Which I would never denounce him, and I think he kind of knows that. So I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna say, I know you're innocent. I'm gonna do
Well,
everything I can to figure this out.
He will say he won't stand up, but he will lean forward and he will say, Devin, you know I'm not innocent. But I didn't do this.
And that I believe.
All right. Be careful.
I will.
Are you back, Paradigm?
Yes.
All right. So we will this is a flashback to you unleashing your powers to try to make contact. 2d6 plus your freak.
All right. I got a 9 plus 1. It gives me a 10.
Beautiful. So you are able to make contact with the mind of Impasse.
You mean impact?
Sorry, Impact. Yes. And it is just it's like stepping into a empty concrete like warehouse. It's like
Cool.
there's no visual, but you are in a very compartmentalized, controlled, orderly space.
Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is make my presence known. Impact, this is Paradigm. I am on the same team as Impasse. I need you to keep your face very, very still while I am talking to you. We need to know what is going on.
What is going on is that you are using telepathy to contact me in Aegis headquarters. They have telepaths. They have technology. If you haven't been detected, it's because you're lucky. You will be detected soon. Goodbye.
Okay. But we need your help.
If you are maintaining contact, the contact remains, but he is not responding. And this for a normal person, his mind is very, very rigorously trained. And it's almost like if you were in this big cavernous warehouse, you can feel the walls of that warehouse closing around you until you feel like you're just in a little kind of square.
It's just gonna bounce because that triggers brain claustrophobia.
Yeah, he has compartmentalized the area of his mind that you are in contact with to the point where it's not even really connected to the rest of his mind. He's just like, nope. And by the way, he's right. You're unleashing your powers in Aegis headquarters. I'm going to say for the narrative that highly armed agents don't storm in and haul you down to one of the subfloors to figure out why you're tampering with one of their investigations. But yeah, he's very savvy and just kind of says, nope.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately, that's probably why he was like kind of shaking his head and looking a little bit. Maybe that explains some of his frustration when you came in, Impasse, because that is like literally what had just happened was he basically kicked Paradigm out of his mind, and then you show up on the door and it's just like, oh, but couldn't say anything about it because then that would reveal what was going on. So I think that made, as a flashback, that made perfect sense. So awesome. You've learned so much. Made a new friend or two. You met First Responder, who's actually a really cool guy. Anyway, so what do you do now?
I am going to go back to base and start making one of those like boards with all the strings connected and everything.
Yes. Yes.
While we're waiting for this spaceship and all this logistics to get done.
Yes.
I'm gonna take a Suber back, and just kind of sit in the back seat going like this because the walls closing in, that's like an immediate trigger for a migraine.
Yeah, it doesn't actually trigger any negative effect, but I will say that you have you are used to connecting telepathically with just regular folks or with like aliens and monsters and stuff.
Right, but not getting immediately slammed out.
You haven't been in contact with a non-telepath who had that much internal discipline before. So I would say you're impressed, but maybe also like not always in a completely positive way. But yes, he has a very impressive mind and a very singular will, which also could make him a good liar, and it doesn't make it so that he's innocent. And as he said to you, Impasse, he's not an innocent man.
Right.
But he says he didn't do this. So let's...
Even if he did, I think my perception of him and closeness to him would cloud my judgment quite a bit as well.
I completely agree that you are correct in that you're reading into the evidence at hand, because you are looking for the evidence that supports the conclusion, the emotional conclusion that you've already come to. Cool. So super ride later, you are all back at the impound. The ship will arrive. Well, let's say you actually have to go to the spaceport. Because I think Bill could probably arrange it that it could come to the warehouse, but that would be that might create a little publicity, right? So basically, you can leave for the spaceport whenever you want to.
Okay, I think while I'm doing all the stuff, I would want Spectre's help a little bit.
Yeah.
See where she's at, what she thinks, because one of my theories is obviously going to involve her mother, since, I think one of my theories is going to be she wants Spectre back. So to do that, show that her friends are also not as maybe nice as she thinks they are, or just to straight up create a rift between the teams so that she's more likely to go back towards her mom than she is away.
Yep. How would you feel if this was, so you guys have it's small, it's modest, but like a superhero conference room, right? You have a strategy room where you can do things like pull up 3-dimensional maps, where the intention is that you all get together and discuss heavy business and make heavy plans, etc. You don't often use it. You tend to kind of just sit around in the living room, eating popcorn and drinking coffee and stuff like that, playing on the Xbox V or whatever edition is that. Xbox Zeta, we'll say, is the new one that's come out. But I'm going to say, Impasse, given the seriousness of the situation and the fact that for the first time in your career, you don't have your mentor to call on, that you're like, nope, we got to do what the heroes do. We got to go be in our strategy room or situation room, and we got to figure this out like we're real heroes. So
I need that coffee machine.
Yes. Well, the drone has delivered it. So yes.
Be up.
Well, clearly I'm in the kitchen messing with it.
Yes. You're getting it all set up and programmed, etc. You're programming it so it can play songs to let you know when things are ready, and the songs differ depending upon like whether you're making a cappuccino or a frappuccino or a mocha latte or whatever. Yeah. So now you've got you can create your own little barista experience in the kitchen if you would like. You probably try to explain it to Tilder, who then just immediately interfaces with the onboard computer and absorbs all the information. And it's just like, yeah, it's fine.
I got it. I can figure out this hot oil function.
Also, the way that Paradigm has programmed the caramel macchiato is going to be bitter, so you can make a slight adjustment to the parameters to make it not as bitter very easily. So toting your caffeinated beverage of choice. Does Lala drink like big floofy drinks with like sparkles and stuff on them, or is it like
Lala,
double espresso?
Lala's caffeine free.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So
it makes tea.
Makes tea.
It's got caffeine in it.
Yeah, it's probably you're probably drinking some sort of
green tea
and artisanal water, maybe.
What?
like with all the nootropic compounds that are supposed to like keep you chill and centered.
Yeah, I make myself a smoothie.
Oh, a smoothie. There we go. Okay.
Mm.
So you have it with whipped cream on top and sparkles and sprinkles, or just a nice straight smoothie?
No, straight smoothie.
Okay. So not the milkshakes that they serve at Starbucks, but like an actual healthy smoothie.
Like an actual, like, whatever is in at the moment, like kale.
Yeah.
A coffee shop.
Yeah. Like kale, chai seeds, some protein powder, because
Yeah.
protein powder.
You're putting all of that through the new baby?
No, I made it in a smoothie. I got a smoothie machine.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do also have the smoothie machine, yes.
Yes. Okay.
I'm gonna go through that whole ridiculous machine just for a black coffee.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to just like.
Look, if you look at the Discord, I linked the image of
Yep.
exactly what it
I did
has. You
see
can
it.
press one button for one black coffee.
Well, I think it's more interesting if it's like so you have programmed it so all these fancy drinks are easy to get, and then but to get just like a plain old black coffee, you have to
It's impossible.
you have to page through a whole bunch of different menus and turn off a bunch of different options. So it's like you have to program this thing just like, no, I just want coffee. And then but eventually you're able to get to it, and it pops up are you sure? With like a happy face no and a sad face yes. You click the yes. Super sure? Yes. Eventually it gives you just a super plain black coffee. So cool. Yes. And you are all gathered around the situation room. And you said that your first order of business was to discuss as a team the potential involvement of Violet Spectre. So let's have that. There isn't a mechanism in this game, but we'll borrow a little bit of the flavor from a previous game, and we'll say that this is sort of a hypothesis formulation and testing scenario. So hypothesis number one is it is Violet Scepter who is attempting to get Spectre back by proving her point that heroes aren't always heroes and villains aren't always villains. There isn't that big of a difference, and driving a wedge potentially between you and the rest of the team. So discuss.
I actually don't believe that. I mean, I called her earlier, and if she actually wanted to drive wedges or try to manipulate me in any way, I don't think that she would have gone about talking to me the way that she did. And I don't trust my mom, and I don't think she's a good person, but I agree with her that her motives don't line up with this.
So you don't think she wants you back?
I think she wants me back, but I don't think she would go about doing it like this.
How do you think she would go about it?
I think her first step is to reestablish contact, and then I think it's...
Which she has done by this whole incident. You reached out and contacted her for the first time in
But I
however long.
reached out and contacted her because Silvershade's involvement with her in the past.
Yes.
Which is an example of
Which
reverse
exactly
psychology,
why.
I
It
believe.
is. It is very, very coincidental and definitely weird. But I also know my mom, and
Well, you know your mum the best out of all of us. So the thing for me is people can be very selfish, and at the end of the day, they do things because they're motivated by something, because they're going to gain something from it. They gain something. So what do you think your mum gains from this situation? And if you don't think she gains anything, then maybe it's not her.
that's the thing. She said that she's happy that Impact has been implicated, but that's about the only thing that she gets out of this. I don't think that she's developed any sort of hatefulness towards Silvershade either, so I don't think trying to take him out does her any good. But the only thing that I can think of that would bring her in on this is that she would want to, for some reason, imply Impact, but it still doesn't do enough for her to go to such an extent, because if we're thinking that the Litec Industries and the CTV footage are linked, I don't think that she would go to all of that trouble just for that.
I mean, does she even have the capacity to do that?
Potentially. I don't think that she would do it, though.
Yeah.
If she was going to break into Litec, she would be trying to steal more important stuff.
But does she even have the
cause
ability
blackout.
to, like, take away a whole wall?
I don't know what kind of gadget she's come up with since I.
That's true.
She's
Yeah.
got a lot of
Definitely.
machinery that I've never even touched.
Yeah, I
We'll
will.
leave her as a maybe. She's not crossed off the list completely,
Yeah.
but we can look at other
And
other benefactors.
I will say impacts that you have access to impacts, kind of like villain menagerie files, and although many of them are redacted, to make them appropriate to share with you, but you can review impacts files on Violet Scepter and reveal that she is she's a heister. So all of her or most of her escapades have involved stealing things that have significant monetary value. Now, this alien AI core could have significant monetary value, but I would say it's obvious that, like, how would you sell that, right?
How would she know about it in the first place?
How would she know about it? How would she say it is a tip? It doesn't mean it's not true. I would say that based on the existing profile, if her primary motivation were to implicate impact, she would do it probably differently. And if her primary motivation were to steal the AI core, that would raises questions about the how and the why.
Unless she was paid to do it, because
May I
it's
ask a
known
question?
she's a
True.
great heister.
True that.
Did Tilly tell them that was taken?
I think so, or maybe not.
I don't know if I actually mentioned it was taken, but I have said there's a trail of stuff that's going there and it's related.
Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
Tilly. I don't
Yeah.
think Tilly
Well, okay,
told
so
them about the
also-
core being taken.
Okay.
Or are you going to
Yeah.
bring
If
it up in
there's
this
like
meeting?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we'll retcon that. Good catch. That
well, the
Brett-
fact that nothing was stolen also tells me that it probably wasn't her.
yeah,
If we
exactly.
don't think
Yeah.
anything was
Yeah.
taken.
And
But meanwhile, I'm definitely going like, well, something was stolen, but,
Right.
and then the same logic applied of like, but it's like, this is not money. It's not.
Yeah, but also
Sell.
it went up.
Yeah, she doesn't operate in space
Yeah.
either. I don't think, right?
So you're keeping the secret, but you're keeping it after running the calculation of, I could tell them that something important was stolen, which would make them suspect her more. But because of what I know, I'm aligning with their analysis that the primary plot being her stealing the AI core doesn't make sense for reasons they may not need to know. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And
So yes,
I made my promise to Tilly. So, like, I made my promise to Dr. I
Califor.
want to say cauliflower because the way you first said it, cauliflower. And, but my real connection is to Tilly, and I wouldn't ever do anything to upset Tilly. So
Yep.
I'm taking my lead off of Tilly. Unless she says something, I'm not.
Okay.
I promise to be quiet, so I'm being quiet.
Then that's also going to raise the question from Spectre of why was a big chunk of the wall missing, and why is there a trail going up into space?
That we don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah, I can try to rack my brain or look through the files of anyone that impacts come up against that operates in space or is capable of that. But
Because Impact doesn't have powers, he generally deals with threats of a terrestrial origin, and and relies on some of his colleagues or connections to deal with the kind of interstellar, intergalactic, interplanar kind of stuff. I mean, there certainly are adventures where he's had to deal with that kind of stuff, but he's more after going after the mundane and superpowered,
level. Yeah.
street level villains, crime bosses, international crime consortiums. I mean, he's dealt with He has fought against Venom in the past, and Venom is a very large organization with a very diverse membership. But again, it's more, well, Batman villain style versus Superman villain style.
I mean,
I haven't been to space yet.
For me personally, if we're prioritizing things, we don't know whether the thing that happened when the power went down and the thing at Logitech, is it Logitech? What's it called? No,
Litec.
Litec was a distraction from Impact or vice versa, whether the thing with Impact was meant to take everybody's focus off of the thing that happened at Litec and the power going down, whether it's meant to make them forget about that. So
Are you implying that you think Impact is guilty?
No, what I'm saying is that if somebody has created a media storm to take people's minds off of the fact of this energy spike that created, somebody may have made it up to make this. That's what I'm implying. So
it just happens that Impact is the most believable hero, so it would draw the most attention and controversy.
For sure.
That tracks.
So what I'm trying to say is, in my opinion, we need to evaluate what's most urgent to investigate. So for me, right now, Impact isn't being accused of anything. He's taken himself in. He's safe. He's not in an area of danger, imminent danger. I wonder whether the most urgent thing is to investigate the cause of the electrical spike, which could have been the thing that's covered up by the thing with Impact. I'm wondering whether that's the most urgent.
Yeah.
I think we maybe do need more evidence before we start coming up with serious theories about who we think did it and why it happened. Well, I mean, we kind of have a why, but we don't know motives. We don't know who. We don't know anything like that. So I think we need to continue our investigations and then go from there.
Yeah, I'm eager to go to space.
Yep. And I will say as a kind of as we go into thought bubbles. So Resonance lays out the idea through the lens of what's gonna, if we assume there was a media manipulation, if we assume that several things happened that are related, but shifting the focus from this was this was all a setup to entrap Impact to it was that is the distraction from this other thing. You think about first of all, Lala knows the media. And also you think about no, that's right. Because if the thing with Impact hadn't happened, then all the media would be focused on there was this thing that happened and then there's a missing section of the Litec building and which has been reported, but the whole press release from them saying, who knows, it was maybe an interaction with some of our experimental technology and whatever the spike was, that was just kind of accepted because no one wants to hear about that because everyone wants to hear about what's going on with Impact. So I would say that was a very good deduction on Resonance's part, particularly coming from the experience of understanding how the media works. And I think everyone would recognize that as that's a lens that we haven't considered because we aren't media personalities so much, but that does make sense.
Yeah, I've been too hung up on this being some kind of personal thing towards Impact, and it might not be personal at all. It just happens he's the opportunity. It just makes sense.
Yep.
And I probably would mention it was hard for us to get information from Litec because they didn't want this investigated. We are probably the only ones who know about this trail to the other side of the moon.
Yep. As far as you know, Litec doesn't even know that. They might figure it out, but
I didn't tell them.
Yeah, and it was only the interaction between Resonance's powers and your powers that was able to detect it. And you are the culmination of many of their most advanced technology. So if they ever figure it out, it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, you are the only team currently on the planet, as far as you know, who is positioned to be able to investigate.
Sure.
So, what do you do?
I want to go to space.
Yeah, we kind of
I want to figure it out.
All right.
Yeah.
Rosa, I do have like JJ bring us like a casserole to have for dinner before we head out. Just
You know,
Sure.
I've heard of
something to
this
eat.
thing
which is-
called astronaut food. They sell it in little packets, and I've heard it's little dry food items. Maybe we should procure some of these.
I would hope
Food
that.
rations.
Well,
I'm pretty sure the spaceship's fully stocked.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
hope that whoever provides
Georgie and Uncle Bill, I mean,
Yeah.
they don't do things half-hearted.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, how about we do this? So we have a scene. So you're at the boardroom, you're kind of coming to consensus. I'm going to reflect that in your team score the next time you actually enter into a situation where team becomes important. And you so it's this very kind of serious, almost like adult hero conversation with planning and deduction and collaboration, etc. And there's a real sense of gravitas as you come to, yes, we are the right heroes for the moment. We're the only ones that we must go solve this problem. And then we cut over.
We all stand up like in Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yes.
where it's like, do we have to stand up now?
Yes, there's
Yes.
there's
Going
a
to space.
yeah there's the camera draws back and there's a lovely kind of set piece of you all standing in your poses, you know, looking really dramatic, and Lala's kind of looking down at the phone a
nice.
little bit. To space, and then we slam cut over to JJ's dining room as you're all sitting around the table, enjoying some turkey casserole or something, and a vegan version for Lala. And tell us what JJ looks like.
She's probably about like her mid-30s. She's got kind of like the short cut blonde hair. And she's short. She's a little tiny lady, but yeah, she's super sweet.
Yep. She's got some Marie Calendar stuff because she probably doesn't have time to cook, but it's good, right? So she's like, "Oh, hey guys," and pulls a bunch of stuff out of the freezer and bakes it all up for you, and sits down, and so you have what is a very sort of a shot of a very sort of mundane, just a bunch of folks sitting around talking kind of moment, pass the rolls, and oh, this is really good, JJ, and meanwhile Children is just sitting there watching with rapt attention as people eat the food, and you're observing the different kind of ways that people use their cutlery and asking questions about, no, I noticed that some people put the napkin on their lap and other people tuck it in here, and some people don't seem to use it at all, and like is there a cultural significance to that? So there's all these conversations sort of happening, so a moment of decompression before the inevitable occurs. So well fed, well stocked, kind of relaxed a bit, you make your way to the spaceport. You are greeted, you aren't quite sure who you're going to be greeted by, but there, sitting on the spaceport is this, it's probably intentionally styled to be a little retro-futuristic. And the technology is absolutely cutting edge, right? I mean, this is what happens when your planet is invaded by advanced civilizations every other week. There's a lot of detritus left behind that you can reverse engineer. So this is a much more technologically advanced version of Earth than the one that we live in every day. But it's not because Shatner doesn't own any of the rights, that like he's not going to get in a legal fight with Paramount over whether it can look like anything from Trek. So it doesn't look like anything from Trek, but it has a similar kind of retro vibe to it. It's not huge. It is designed, it is one of these kind of bulbous rocket ship things with the swept wings. It clearly can operate in atmosphere as well versus a vertical takeoff. And there is a very large gleaming white limousine sitting out in front of it as you pull up in your Subaru.
Nice. Will we get out?
Yeah.
You get out.
We're gonna shove resonance out first, and then the rest of us can sneak around.
Just in case. So yeah, as you move over towards the limousine, The driver door opens up, and a chauffeur runs around and opens up the back door nearest you. And a very shapely leg extends, and a very beautiful older woman with a bit of a kind of a very well coiffed salt and pepper silvery dew steps out. It's Nichelle Nichols. And
It's who? I didn't hear you say it
it's
again.
Nichelle Nichols. It's
Okay.
Lieutenant Uhura. And she's like, well, I was in town and Bill said that you guys were going for a ride, so I thought I'd come here and see you all off. You know how to fly this thing, right?
Yes.
Tilly will.
Really does.
Yeah, Tilly does.
Yeah.
She says, have you seen any of our shows? To you,
I
Tilly.
have seen all of the shows. They are excellent.
Then I think you'll recognize the console layout. Bill is so sentimental. He pretends like he doesn't like all this stuff and he wants people to focus on his books and his albums and stuff like that, but he's a Trekkie at heart. So we get a beauty shot of a lovely Nichelle Nichols kind of waving you all onto as you walk up the ramp into this silvery retro style spaceship. The interior, again, not close enough that it's a copyright violation, but pretty darn close. I mean, there's a view screen and there's a little line that moves back and forth, and it's, you know, glossy black consoles with red edges, and it's got like levers and big bulb lights. There's like your scanner is like you have to look down into like a telescope. It's very, you know, to everyone else it looks a little bit odd, but you have absorbed all this stuff. You know all the canons, so you know exactly how this operates. And underneath the exterior trappings is a very, very modern computer system that you can simply just operate. You can basically just interface with it and, you know, get pre-launch systems up and running and communicate with space control, get clearance, etc. You're already logged as a private flight, so there's not really a lot of rigmarole that you have to go through. And then as soon as everyone is bolted in, there are no seatbelts because for whatever reason, you're in these big swivelly chairs. You can all sit behind a console, being careful not to flip any switches. I'm going to say, Tilly, you probably deactivate the manual interfaces because they're completely unnecessary and just for show.
Yes, but I am going to pretend to hit all the buttons to make it look cool.
Yes. You got.
I have disabled them all.
You got the sliders to adjust the engine power, and probably even I'm going to say Impasse probably takes the center chair. Captain.
Data. I mean, Tilly.
Tilly's like, I got that.
I understood this reference.
Yes.
I'll let everyone know they're free to hit the buttons. They won't do anything.
Yes.
I'm hitting so many buttons.
Right.
I've disabled the buttons so you don't mess up the systems, but feel free to press them. They still will light up and make sounds.
Yes.
Way better than Star Trek Bridge Crew.
Yes, exactly. So as you guys have fun playing with the nostalgic setting, Tilly guides this very advanced vessel into its launch trajectory. You take off. Unlike in the fiction, there is significant G-force. You guys aren't quite expecting it, but the chairs are very comfortable and are also quite modern, and they sort of morph around you to protect you. And within 5 minutes, you are breaking the Earth's atmosphere, which I think for all of you, is the first time you have ever left the planet.
Yeah, I'm gonna vomit. There's no way around it. That's gonna be like it's gonna be like the same reaction she had coming through the temporal rift. Is she's just gonna find the nearest receptacle in which she can get rid of that turkey casserole.
No. If you do it, I'm gonna.
Oh, So
Well, okay, no.
Is this a human ritual too?
yes,
No.
this is a food
An
related.
involuntary reaction.
This is a food related ritual that you have not yet observed, Dilly.
Have
So
do we come through it? Like, are we through it now? Can we get out of our chairs?
you are weightless, which is making the situation even worse. So we see a frame. We see a series of frames as you all are pushed back, and then there's a wide shot of the rocket ship taking off, and an even wider shot of people like on rooftop decks in the city looking up and going, "Oh, cool, spaceship." And then we cut to each of you in turn, and there's like looks of excitement and looks like maybe excitement, but like suppressed, like I'm being professional with impasse. Resonance trying to live stream the whole thing. Just
No,
like,
I'm not.
"Hey."
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
Are you recording it for later?
No, that's why I wanted to say. I say this is such a grammable moment, but this one's just for the memories.
Okay, so we get that scene of like you very intentionally like putting your phone away, and saying that, and Tilly just very competently moving things, not really affected by the G forces, and then we get a look at Paradigm's face going, and then we pull back outside the bulkhead, and we hear "Urk," and then we hear like a little smaller voice bubbles from other people going, "Oh no, now it's gonna happen to me too." So you hear other little burbles and splats, and then we cut back to the interior of the cockpit as a bunch of little automated cleaning robots are sucking up the last and cleaning off the last of the expulsion.
Mickey casserole.
last of the casserole.
Sorry, JJ.
As everyone looks maybe not quite so happy that happened, except for Tilder, who's like, fascinating because it's appropriate. We'll say one of Tilder's metallic eyebrows lifts and the hair lights up a bit. Fascinating, because we have never observed this phenomena before. But yes, you guide the spaceship. It switches to some sort of advanced ion drive, and you begin to accelerate it, let's say like 1.5 G. So gravity feels a little bit heavy. The cockpit itself rotates so that the floor is faced in the direction away from your travel, so the G-force holds you down. So it is effectively artificial gravity. And you accelerate at a constant state towards the moon, which I'm not going to do the math, but it puts you there relatively quickly. You are able to use your own sensors and link them to the ship itself to ensure that you're following the right trajectory, that you're following the path, and everything looks good. So I think the end of this issue is a shot from. At first, you think it's just a starfield. So we flip the page and we see a full frame of, you think it's just a starfield, but then you realize it's half of a starfield. So there's the twinkling stars, and then you realize that the bottom half is black, and the line that delineates them is slightly irregular, like maybe ridges and mountains. It pulls back a little bit, and you realize that you are on the camera is on the dark or above the dark side of the moon, and then there's a little line of light that comes in as your ship crosses the not Mercator line, the line of light and darkness crosses over that into the dark side of the moon, and it becomes this little bit of a streak that we see. We come in, we see an establishing shot of the ship. We can see some faces at the windows looking out at what is now. By the way, the dark side of the moon is not always dark. So you've crossed the terminator, and you are following the particle trail to a position directly opposite the Earth. It is currently in darkness, and you begin to see an area of light, and then the camera zooms in, and it looks like a rough sphere of light sitting directly on the surface, like a giant bowling ball or something, just resting on the surface of the moon in a crater. and you approach closer. And with your sensors, Tilly, and with the sensors aboard the ship, you are able to zoom in and then enhance and then enhance, put it up on the view screen. And what you see is it looks like a perfectly smooth sphere that just has little specks of light moving in it. Difficult to tell color because there's not a lot of reflected light. The color of the material, I should say, but the lights all have a kind of a pale greenish hue to them. And it just appears to move, the lights appear to move in lines. But the surface, like maybe directly below the surface, but the surface itself appears completely smooth. But as you approach, there's a ripple in the surface. And because of that ripple, you realize that it's actually hundreds or thousands of or tens of thousands of very small objects that are seamlessly interlocked. So it's only when there's a little bit of a ripple that you realize that this is like a extremely complicated jigsaw of metallic or mechanical objects that have formed themselves into this perfect sphere. And I think we will end with the ship coming in for a landing nearby. We'll establish distance and how you're going to get there in the future episode or issue. But we see the ship coming in, and we pull back, and then we just see you guys and your ship sitting at the top of this ridge, and then this underlight from this glowing, rippling orb of clearly alien design. And your ship smells vaguely of turkey casserole, but that's fine. Or strawberry air freshener or whatever. So yay, you guys are now in space.
Yay.
That's probably fine.
Yeah,
I'll be fine.
4 of us can't breathe in space.
Children will be fine. There are form-fitting pressure suits with little face shields, whatever. So you're not going to have to worry about that. So
Paper on the outside of it.
And Meg boots.
yes, perfect, exactly. We're just like, I already have it on. Excellent. So that is second of the planned 3, maybe 4 episodes that we're going to do. I think we made a lot of great progress and have discovered, you haven't discovered the roots of the mystery, but you've discovered many, many more clues that have led you in a direction. You have formed some hypotheses or some areas of inquiry that you hope that investigating the far side of the moon is going to help to elucidate. Hint, yeah, probably. Also, you might get a chance to use your powers in ways that you haven't so much yet, because you may be directly confronting a dangerous foe in the opening pages of the next issue of Teen Justice Academy. So before we go there, let's do the round robin. Let everyone know who you are and where they can find you. Let's go the opposite direction this time. Start with Tough.
Oh, I'm 98 Tough Love. I'm 98 Tough Love on Twitch. I stream relatively frequently, at least twice a week. And I am also semi-active on Twitter, also at 98 Tough Love. And that's about all of my social stuff. So go Misha.
Great. I'm Misha Less Than 3. You can find me here at Twitch or on Twitter at Misha Weha. And that's about it.
Rach.
Hi, I'm Rach H. You can find me here, Rach H. And all my other socials are in my About section. So just click that. That's the easiest way to do it. I've not been massively streaming recently because I had an operation that I was trying to get over and other random stuff. But I've been doing a lot of stream raiders. So if you do stream raiders, come please help me and put some units in. I'd appreciate that. Favorite me as your captain. That'd be wicked. And hopefully I will be back streaming properly live soon with lots of hopefully fun new stuff. Yay!
Excellent.
Makeover.
Hi, I'm the original Zodi. You can find me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/the original Zodi. I'll eventually get into streaming again. I don't know when. I've had a very, very long week, and if that's representing of what I'm going to be dealing with for now, it's gonna be a hot minute. But eventually, you can also find me right here on C plus content, because this stuff is so much fun. And I'm learning a lot about my character as well as everybody else's characters. And other than that, that's basically it. SJ, take it off. Way.
So I'm SJ Sidekick. I'm SJ Sidekick everywhere: Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all those places. I don't stream. I've been saying I'll stream for like 3 years, so I wouldn't believe me, and I wouldn't expect to stream anytime soon.
There you go. And I am Zero or Zero Daylight or Michael or DM or GM or narrator or whatever you want to call me. You can find me on Twitter at that Zero with a Zero Daylight. You can find me on Twitch there, but you shouldn't, because I don't stream there. I stream here. So if you want to check out what's going on with our Twitch, go ahead, and if you haven't already, give us a follow here. I think there's a thing where you set alerts to, you can set alerts here to get notified when we are streaming. If you're curious about our next streams, you can always scroll down a bit from where you're looking right now at our schedule. I try to keep that more or less updated. I pop the links to the VODs up on things that are past, and then we'll do a major overhaul when the majority of stuff is upcoming as opposed to past. Speaking of VODs, everything that we do here is posted in relatively short order to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/C+content. So go ahead and check that out, give that a follow and a similar click of the bell so that you can be alerted when we have new content available. Check that out. Our next upcoming stream will not be here on C+ content unless something changes. It for sure will be on Justice TV and Licity. We'll talk about whether we also want to simul stream here. It would frankly make recording and downloading and getting it up to YouTube a little bit easier for me, and would make it easier for Alyssa and Juice to have their alerts and stuff running if we had a clean recording that didn't have any of this stuff on. So, but we'll talk, probably not on Sunday, but we'll talk about that. But regardless, on Sundays at 6:30 p.m., go to Justice TV and Licity to watch our main D&D campaign. We will be coming back in the near future with the continuation of this miniseries, as well as the next episode of Star Trek Pioneer. I think that's November 4th. Between that, on October 31st, we have Those Meddling Kids, a Monsters of the Week limited series that is kind of Scooby-Doo and the gang meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer, kind of teen investigators, various different monsters and supernatural stuff happening. And I'm sure that there's stuff that I'm forgetting, but like I said, schedule down below if you want to check it out. Follow us on all the things. You can certainly check out the C+ content, at C+ content on Twitter. We do our best, and sometimes our friends remind us and they do it for us to promote the things that are coming up. It's another good way of getting notified of upcoming streams. We also like to hear from you. We like your feedback. We like your ideas. We like your participation as the community. So you can join us on Discord, see what's happening, get a look at the things that we haven't scheduled yet, and some of the additional games and styles and stories that we're thinking about for the future. So not only can you see it, but you can help to influence the direction that we take in future by joining our Discord community. All are welcome as long as you're nice. So cool. I think that is it. I am seeing us. Let's see who is live. I was frankly expecting Meg to be live, but she's here currently, so we can't very well go over and raid Meg. So I think we're gonna raid James because it looks like he is online. So we'll go do that. Any last words from anybody? Anything else that anyone wants to talk about? Any shout outs or other than thank you, Meg? You're the best. Yes, if you're with us, that means that you probably love Meg and you probably tolerate Juice. So they are streaming tonight, finishing up the game of House of Ashes. I think is that the third in the series of Dark Tales or whatever it's called? Yes. I watched the first half last night. It was very, it's kind of spooky, but it's mostly just hilarious to watch Meg and Juice fight like old married couple. So that'll be fun. I'm sure Meg will betray Juice in more and more ways, even though the result is that all of the characters she plays get killed. So I'm sure it'll be a rollicking good time. I will be there. Please join us this evening as we watch that, and then come back to Juices TV and Lissa T tomorrow at 6:30 to join us for D&D. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone, and we will see you soon. And come with us. Nope. Up. Come with us as we raid. Is it lowercase, James? Let me double check.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's all lowercase letters and with a Z, not an S.
Yep. Awesome. It's working. So we're ready to raid. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you again soon.
Hey
Could do the
guys.
ending,
Bye.
Bobby. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Toy Story 2. Bye.
Right.